The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Craving your next action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, like Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, where a lone astronaut must save humanity from extinction, narrated with stunning intensity by Ray Porter. From electrifying suspense and daring quest to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms, unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that'll keep you guessing. Discover exclusive Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. Because Audible knows there's no greater thrill than the one that speaks to you. Discover what lies beyond the edge of your seat. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com/WonderyUS. That's audible.com/WonderyUS.
Get this, adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Wondery. greenlight.com/Wondery.
This episode brought to you by the following patrons: Heather, Leaf Girl, Min, Jason, Madeline, Alyssa, Vixen, Holly, Laura, Jeremy with the laser eyes, Allie, Logan, Kristen, Tia, and Jonathan. And all the patrons want you to know you're loved, you're listened to, and you're a valuable member of this awesome Horror Virgin community. And if you want to hang out with us, do so in the Facebook group where we'll be talking daily. So I am going to a conference on Wednesday. It's going to have about 1,700 people there, and the majority of them are just there to get CEU credits. Like, they're just there to, like, sit through the classes and whatever. It's in Palm Springs, so it's like a nice resort location, but it's, like, mainly just, like, long, boring classes or whatever. And we sponsored a lunch session, and typically when companies like mine sponsor a lunch session, they, like, get up and try and sell people for, like, 90 minutes. When they're just like there to eat the chicken, man.
Right.
Like, if I had an expense account, I'd be at a lunch with my boss. Like, this is terrible. I don't want to be here.
Right.
So instead of doing that, I'm just going to like play trivia with them.
What kind of trivia?
It's like bar trivia where you sit down at a table and like you write your answers on a sheet. We come collect them and score them and all that shit. And then you like win prizes. Like, I'm giving away Beats Studio Pro headphones and shit.
Nice.
So because I am a drama kid at heart, I not only bought prizes and wrote the questions and stuff. Let me show you how I'm going to be walking around the whole first day.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
This is why you ordered that.
This is a black hard plastic Pelican briefcase full of $175,000.
But fake dollars?
I'll show you the money. Hang on.
Show me the money.
Oh, I will. Paige, I also, and you're a Pulp Fiction fan, so you'll love this.
Did you put a light bulb in it?
I put an LED light that I can change the color of, so when I open it, it does this.
It'll be gold. Yes. Thank you for tuning into Horror Virgin. I'm Paige.
And I'm your Horror Virgin, Todd, which means I don't like scary movies, but you guys make me watch them. And this week, I should pause here and explain. We are joined by the amazing Armando Torres.
Yeah. What's up?
You made us watch this movie today.
Yes.
And we should say the monkey that we watched did not win listener requests, in fact.
It came in second.
Oh, it came in a very distant second, but because Sinners is still in theaters and I'm not going to have time to see it before we had to record to get this episode out by this Monday, Mondo was like, oh, I saw that second place movie. We should do an episode on that. I'll come on and guest, and that's where we are now. We will do Sinners next week.
Yes.
So that'll be the listener request. It'll technically come out at the beginning of next month, but you will get it. Apologize for the, I guess, hiccup here.
Well, you get double listener requests.
Yeah. It's like instead of just doing the winner, we're like building to the winner as we also give you your number 2 choice, The Monkey, with Mondo Torres.
Yes. Yeah.
I will also, a caveat to that story, Armando saw this months ago and texted me immediately after and was like, we need to do this movie right fucking now. And it didn't fit into a theme until this. And then I went to go write a letterbox review about it and was like, when are we doing this? And I was like, hey, it's up for listener request. And so when this was an option, I was like, hey, bro, what are you doing on Saturday? Let's go.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this. I never thought horror version would do it, but you know what? We're here to do it. Planet of the Apes, baby, let's go.
Let's go.
That's what movie we're doing, right?
Apes together strong. Apes together strong.
When I said I wanted to do the monkey movie, I was talking about Planet of the Apes. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes, the horror of the Planet of the Apes, or whatever they titled their movies as.
I don't know, but a lot of them have made me cry.
Yeah, shut up.
They actually are surprisingly sweet and like so sad, and like you're like, man, this like other species, they're like real things and real people with not people maybe, but like they have feelings, and like we should treat them better and whatever.
Yeah.
But like I hate other people that don't look like me. I don't know. This it's a crazy like series for people to like sit through and then also be racist afterwards
And not understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's my point.
Yeah, and then not understand that it's about humans.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Because they're monkeys.
Because they're monkeys, though.
And that's different than human.
Armando, you missed. We did Color of Night with Bruce Willis, and we recorded it, and somebody's makeup in that is bad enough that we were like, they look like they're on set of Planet of the Apes.
Oh, no.
we started calling her daughter Zayas because it was just funny. daughter Zayas. Anyway, we can't talk about our other podcast, Romancing the Pod. Check it out now, wherever podcasts are sold. But Paige,
Yes.
when was the first time you saw this movie? And Mondo, I guess you saw it in theaters too, so you probably saw it a long time ago.
No, I started my date with this movie.
Yeah, the same. Paige, I got up, had coffee with Natalie, and then watched this amazing movie. Mondo, you saw it in theaters. Tell me what the people around you felt about this movie.
I've got terrible news. I did not see it in theaters.
Oh, I thought
That's
you
fine.
did. Sorry. Paige said that.
So, no. What happened was I was in theaters to see Mickey 17.
Okay.
A regrettable decision, but
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what? I was there and I saw a trailer for this movie, for The Monkey, and I was like, what a dumb piece of shit movie that's going to be. Oh, wow. And for the horror virgin people who don't know me, I know this is going to make you not like me off the bat. I'm not a huge fan of Stephen King stuff when he has his hands in the pie too much.
Right.
And so that was going against it. It was by Oz Perkins, who did Longlegs, a movie that I loved until the end when I didn't anymore.
Same. That was my
Yeah.
feeling as well.
I mean, a lot of people
Yeah.
felt that way about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, whatever. What about this dumb, stupid movie that the trailer made it seem, from my perspective, was going to be like a horror movie, like a straight up, just regular horror movie.
With this monkey running around stabbing people with the drumsticks that are stuck to its hands or whatever.
Yeah.
Honestly, would have loved that. If it was just like a reimagining of Child's Play, but instead of like pithy one-liners, we get like as it's like stabbing into it with its drumsticks. Hell yeah.
That's what I thought it was going to be. I was fully planning on doing a double feature of The Monkey and what is that? The movie where the sloth kills all those sorority girls. Do you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
Slaughterhouse. We haven't seen it, but I know the
Slaughterhouse.
title of it based on your premise. I knew it was called that.
Exactly.
I saw a poster for it and I was like, oh, that's a funny joke. And someone was like, no, it's a real movie. And so that's been in my head since I saw that. It was in our Facebook group. But yeah.
I mean, surprisingly, pacing incredible.
Exactly.
It's because they're so slow, Paige. Those sloths, man, they take their time.
It's a slow burn
Yeah.
and it's good. But instead, what happened was my partner and I were like, let's just put on something stupid, something that we can make fun of. And we put on The Monkey just as like a little joke because we were like, we saw a trailer for this. Is going to be fucking dumb, whatever. And then it ripped.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
it was a sick ass movie.
Yeah. That's almost like the best experience. Turning on a movie, you're like, oh, I'm sure this is going to be a shithouse stinker.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, damn, is this like kind of a thoughtful meditation on the way trauma in your youth can fracture two people and they handle it very differently and like how that plays out? And also it's kind of silly and we get people exploding and like it's like this very weird line to walk that I think they do so well.
I actually really like the point they try to make at the end where it's like, you can never get rid of death. It will touch everyone.
Yeah.
You cannot predict it. You have to have some level of acceptance, and that's the only way you will basically get through it, is like, it's gonna happen. I have to live and enjoy life while I can live and enjoy life because I never know when it's gonna be over.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Hal goes the isolation route, right? So he isolates himself from like everyone in his life.
Right.
And Bill like leans into, I can become death, the destroyer of this town. And if I do, I will be immortal, which is obviously not what people who go through that think exactly. But
No, but it's a bonkers way to go.
But it's like him trying to get control over death and just killing the people around him.
Yes.
To do that is such a funny turn. And also, it's a monkey.
Yeah, I wasn't quite prepared for this to be as funny as it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then that opening scene happened and I was like, oh, that's the movie we're in for? Let's fucking go.
Oh, yeah.
Let's fucking go.
When the statue's like spear gun shoots through the pawn shop owner and then pulls his insides out.
It was the recoil that got me.
Yeah.
Fuck, that was so funny. Yeah.
It's such a great experience to like, okay, let's go into this stupid movie. And then just instantly off the bat, you're like, oh, hell yeah. Oh, dude, I'm sorry, the monkey. I was unfamiliar with your game, player.
I did not realize. I also feel like, and Mondo backed me up on this. Todd, I know you're familiar with this too, but we recently watched Final Destination. There's a new Final Destination out.
Mm-hmm.
We recently watched Final Destination 3.
Yeah.
Is that the roller coaster one?
Yeah. But Bloodlines, I think is what it's called, did just come out. Final Destination Bloodlines.
Bloodlines just came out.
Yeah.
My complaint with Final Destination 3, and most Final Destination movies, frankly, is that the kills take too long, where it's like,
Yeah.
there's this piece that touches this piece, that touches this piece, that touches this piece. This movie does the opposite and nails it because almost every kill is either a rule of 1 or a rule of 3. And this is not just a joke writing thing, this is a writing thing in general, because 3 goes to like human pattern recognition, where it's like the first instance establishes the pattern, the second instance reinforces it, the third breaks the pattern. And so almost every kill that's longer than one shot in this movie is item, item, kill, item, item, kill. And it's fast, it's easy. You still get the buildup of like, is it this? No, it's this. Kill. As opposed to the Final Destination of, is it this? Fake out, fake out, fake out, fake out, fake out. And by the time they kill people, you are tired of it.
It's like a Rube Goldberg machine in
Yes.
Final Destination. In this, it's like, oh, I see. Oh, God. Like, it's so fast. Like,
It's so fast. But even in this movie, which does feature a Rube Goldberg machine, that Rube Goldberg machine has what?
Yeah.
3 steps. It's perfect. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
high marks. And every death is so fucking nuts and bloody and hilariously, shockingly gory. I was having a great time.
When the lady jumps into the electrified pool and explodes like she just ate a spaghetti platter full of M80s, it's hilarious.
And her leg flies and hits Theo James in the face. It was as funny as in Audition where she wire cuts that guy's foot and then just throws it against the sliding glass door. I laughed just as hard. It was crazy.
First of all, Todd, I think it's very funny that the difference in generations here is you were like, it's like a Rube Goldberg machine, and then my dumbass was like, it's like an OK Go video.
Oh, yeah.
I do love the OK Go videos, too. Ever since their treadmill video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been absolutely killing it, and I love them as the cinematographers in The Monkey. I feel like you're dead on, because in a Final Destination video, it's Jesus Christ, a movie. In one of them Final Destination pictures, they show like
The Final Destination joint.
they show 15 different ingredients for what the kill's gonna be. A kill that could ultimately almost always be, hey, if you took one step to the left, you're fine.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I get it. It's fate. It's gonna happen no matter what. Whatever, they have to make it preventable. But you're right, is that they set up way too much every single time to the point where you can figure it out. Whereas this one, like with the lady in the pool, you are Theo James also, and Theo James sees electricity, he sees water, and then he goes, no, and then the kill happens. It's immediate.
Yes, it's so fast. Yeah. I mean, it gives you no time, if you're Theo James, to adequately explain to her, hey, the pool is full of electricity right now. Don't get in.
Yeah.
All he has time to say is no, because she's already mid-jump by the time he turns around.
She's mid-jump, which also, that would not make your body explode, but boy, is it fun that's what they do anyway.
I loved it.
Yeah.
They explode a person with a shotgun.
Paige.
They explode this lady.
Oh.
I was here for it every time. It was so fucking nuts.
They explode a guy by filling him full of bees,
Full
dude.
of bees. And then they don't address how they had to clean that car out after. at all. It's just
Yeah,
gone.
because if a bunch of bees go in your mouth like that, you're definitely going to have a really bad BM. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I did want you to be disappointed in me, Mondo. I did. That was my goal.
A B movement.
Ooh.
Do you like jazz and death? Okay, that's also bad.
I do think that if electricity made you pop like that, another Stephen King movie that has a very serious vibe with Tom Hanks would have a very different feeling ending.
Oh, God.
They call him a John Coffin. Boom! Like, just explodes.
Oh, shit.
I shouldn't laugh about that, but yeah, that would. I was thinking Maximum Overdrive if people just started popping like balloons, but like, yeah, no, Green Mile would hit way different if people just exploded.
A blood-splattered prison guard going, how does the sponge stop that? I don't get that.
Make way here. Dead man popping.
Oh, God.
This is a dark thing to joke about.
It is, but this movie, at one point in this movie, a woman explodes, splattering Theo James with blood, and then he picks viscera out of his mouth. And I was like, brave.
I mean, I would have thrown it up out of my mouth. You know, like there's no way I wouldn't have thrown up if I was picking off someone's cheek from my lips.
That's so funny that if you made a movie about this with a character like Todd, there would be at least 30 minutes of him just vomiting profusely
100.
after every death.
Dude, it would be like the alley scene in Team America.
Yes.
Like that is what it would be. I would be so dehydrated the whole movie because I would be throwing up everything inside me.
I thought the kills were really good in this movie. I thought it was weird that they would then cut to him violently vomiting about it for 20 minutes straight and calling a therapist on a hotline. That was weird.
I knew we were in store for a wild movie when I saw the Atomic Monster beginning video thing to let you know they're the production company, because they're like the crazy A24.
Yeah.
They're like killing it in horror right now, and they're not afraid to be like 80s bonkers at all.
Ooh, okay, let's break it down. Neon is the horny teen good horror. A24 is the fucked up, disturbing good horror. Atomic Monster is like, we wish it was still the 80s.
I know. Here's a Bacter. Enjoy.
Right.
I think out of all of them, Atomic Monster is my favorite because they're typically not as scary and they're just like, wow, they're swinging for it. And I love that.
I mean, I do love Malignant.
Yes.
Malignant's so fucking funny.
And isn't Mithrigan also Atomic Monster?
I believe so.
Yeah.
This one is kind of fun because it's Atomic Monster and
I know.
Neon, I think, which is kind of unique. But yeah, I still love me some A24. I mean, we just did Love Lies Bleeding. That shit fucking slapped.
I know. I mean, A24 is great. All of those studios are great. I was just saying I think I prefer Atomic Monster because they're bonkers.
Yeah.
But I mean, not as bonkers as going to a strip club, sitting down, getting a drink,
Having a monkey.
and then having a stripper stick her head down through her legs to look at you, and that head being a monkey head. Like, that shit made me laugh out loud when it happened.
Furthering your madness, your descent into madness. This movie, at like 20 minutes into this movie, I just said to myself, they having a laugh because like by that point we'd already killed like 4 people.
Yeah.
And I was like, when it got to adult Theo James, I paused it to be like, we got to be halfway through this movie by now. 27 minutes. 27 minutes into a 98-minute film, which it was one of those things where I was like, is the pacing off? No, this movie's just unhinged and you enjoy every second of it and bless it for being the length that it is.
I mean, it is the perfect length for a movie like this, I think. And I think Atomic Monster movies typically are that way.
Yeah.
They're usually around 90-ish to 100 minutes, and they slap.
I was unfamiliar with Atomic Monster, and I looked it up, and it's telling me that Atomic Monster made Night Swim, Malignant.
Night Swim is not awesome.
No, but it does make them the I'm Afraid of Swimming Pools movie studio. Now that I'm putting together all the clues.
Right.
Somebody didn't want to go into the deep end growing up, and they're making several movies about it, and that's all. So if you want to get a movie greenlit over at Atomic Monster, just throw in a scene where somebody gets fucked up in a pool, and you're fine, and you're good.
Yeah. It is James Wan's company. So all of the Conjuring universe as well. And the unfortunately bad Mortal Kombat movie that came out recently. But also Mithrigan, but also Aquaman. So like, hit or miss. I do want to watch their Salem's Lot. That was like a short series on Max. It comes very highly recommended.
It's bad. It's a movie.
It was bad?
This movie was so clearly made for the theaters, and then at some point somebody went, we simply can't. We cannot put this in a movie theater. It's not good, and I don't recommend it at all.
Not to refocus us back on the movie we're here to talk about, but I am just going to say that the monkey is basically Tommy Lee, and I'm sick of pretending not to notice.
Oh.
Because, like, they're both drummers.
Yeah.
They both come with baggage that'll probably ruin a family holiday. They both love single moms.
Yeah.
Like, the monkey makes 2 single moms in the first 20 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
I'm convinced neither of them are allowed near a playground, and they both peaked in the 90s. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and they both fuck Pamela Anderson.
Oh.
She should be so lucky. The monkey? Please.
I was thinking about the logistics.
Of course you'd be thinking about his sticks, Paige.
He just hitting that thing over and over rhythmically.
They both spin their sticks? Like, yeah, he does.
He does spin the sticks.
The monkey is basically Tommy Lee. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, God. I mean, okay, hear me out. A movie that is basically Tommy Lee, but he's a serial killer and kills on tour at every place that he goes.
What you're describing is reality, Paige.
Oh, no, I know. But, like, I mean, an A24 version, like, where it's also meditation on grief or something. But, like, yeah.
I was going to say you're going to force A24 to find any meaning in Tommy Lee's life, and that's just unfair.
They will. They'll be like, did we mention he makes miniatures in the green room? Anyway. Should we just talk about this movie because they're so much fun?
Yeah, maybe we should just go through this movie scene by scene.
Okay. I was worried initially because there were a list of multiple production companies, more than usual, but they were all good ones. And so I was like, maybe?
Yeah, because it's like Atomic Monster. It's Neon. And I think there was another one that I hadn't seen before, but I figured if those 2 big ones were on board, the other one was probably fine.
Armando, I don't remember if this happened the last time you were on, but anytime there's more than 3 production companies at the beginning of a movie, it's a red flag.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't think that... But there's so many more people working on the creative vision.
Yeah. Typically, that's not good. It's like a too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing.
What do you mean? That's great. Because more cooks, they got more flavor.
More cooks, more flavor.
Yeah, I love that.
As someone who creates content and has made movies and whatnot, knows the more people who get involved, the worse it gets.
No. You guys are stupid. The only thing more production companies mean is more executives to show and give notes. And if anyone knows what's good for movies, it's the notes of executives.
It's the corporate overlords. Yeah. No, exactly. So I was a little worried going into this, but again, they were good. And I just want to know, I love the font.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever did the graphic design for this, A+.
Well, you only notice the font because that's the only thing they're showing on the screen because these credits blow. But fortunately, they're short. So
they're very short.
I like them. I love the font and I love the song that they're playing from the fucking, what is it, the meat grinder monkey?
Yes.
Yeah.
The organ grinder. I don't think that they suck. I should rephrase that. There's nothing happening, so they're a waste of time. But they don't suck.
But it's only a short amount of time.
I agree.
So I'll
Agreed.
give it a pass.
This was very manageable. I usually give credit shit when it's like a minute to a minute and a half of just, names on a screen. And this is not that. This is like 15, 20 seconds tops.
Yeah. It's literally just some of the production companies again, which I thought was funny. And then we're in. And we open on pawn shop. We see that there's a rat in the pawn shop that will become important later.
It's rat shadowing.
Ratatouille shadowing. Anyway, let him cook. So a guy runs in dressed as a pilot. It is Adam Scott. And he sets this drumming monkey on the counter and is like, I just need to get rid of this. And the guy behind the counter is like, hey, did you know you're covered in fucking blood? And he's like, yes, it's not mine, but like my 2 boys, I don't want them to have it. Like, please get rid of it.
And the shop owner's like, well, it's broken. The arm is stuck in the up position. He's like, and Adam Scott goes, you don't want that arm to come down. Like a dad who's like, you don't want me to come over to that side of the room or something like that. Like he's about to like beat the shit out of him. It's like that kind of intensity.
I'll pull this monkey over right now.
I do think like, okay, if I was the shop owner and a guy came in trying to sell something with this energy, I would not at all ever buy that thing from them.
No.
You know how many times as a pawn shop owner, you got these crazed drug addicts coming in with their organ grinder monkeys trying to get a quick fix for some, what is worth monkey money? Banana blunts.
Bananas.
They're looking for some banana kush, Mondo.
Yeah, it's very appealing. Anyway, the guy's like, yeah, no, I don't want to buy that. But then the arm comes down.
Yeah.
Adam Scott backs away. We see the light flicker. We see the rat chew on a rope. And that rope is connected to essentially like a full scuba suit with a harpoon gun. As the rope breaks, the harpoon shoots the guy behind the counter. And you're just like, holy shit. That's bad. And then, of course, it pulls the harpoon back, pulling that guy's intestines out across the room.
Yeah.
At which point, Adam Scott looks at a flamethrower against the wall and is like, that'll do it, and tries to flamethrower the monkey. We then cut to a flashback that's basically like, you're probably wondering how I got here.
I thought that shit was funny, that it went from him in the pawn shop to him more or less reenacting like the last scene from Inglourious Bastards on this monkey.
Yes. As if this monkey is Hitler. Yes.
He's like in uniform too. He looks like a Brad Pitt on bath salts, like just screaming with a flamethrower.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to me.
Well, monkey was just following orders. I don't know that we can get that mad at that.
Don't make me pull you into Monkenberg.
Yeah.
What's the Nuremberg for monkeys?
He was just handling his monkey business.
Yes.
We got to eventually do Monkey Shines, by the way. We'll
absolutely.
reconvene for Monkey Shines at a later date.
I would love to become your monkey guy. The guy that just is only here for monkey movies.
You've got a friend in the monkey business.
We got to do Congo. We got to do Monkey Shines.
I'll go as far as to say Kong. Let's get Kong in here.
I know you love Kong.
I love Kong. I love him so much.
Mondo was like right up against the camera. He right up against the camera.
Do you know how infrequently I get to see somebody who looks like me on screen? And Kong, there's a whole fucking series about him. Okay, anyway, one thing that I want to point out is that it also sets up that the monkey does not like to be called a toy.
No.
And you cannot call the monkey a toy. The monkey reacts to being called a toy the way that comedians react to calling sketches skits. They get really mad about it.
We hate it.
Bill only calls it a toy once, and it's when he's trying to get Petey to turn it at the end. And I think the monkey only abides it because it knows Bill's trying to like manipulate Petey into turning the key.
Right,
so,
right.
Every other time, it does end badly.
Mm-hmm.
It does. But we cut to Hal and Bill as children, where we find out that Bill is older, and he claims that he's therefore stronger because he ate more of the placenta. At no point in this movie does anyone really understand what a placenta is or does, and claims to eat it long after people are born.
Yeah, Paige, like this movie just assumes its audience isn't dumb, and it's like, yeah, he ate more of the placenta. That makes sense. That's why he's stronger. I get it. Yeah.
That's why he's stronger.
Fully.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course they'd have some in the fridge or whatever.
In the fridge?
I don't know. I did think that was weird, but no one talks about it, so whatever.
It's like a wedding cake. You keep it in the freezer and you take it out on the anniversaries.
You eat it every birthday, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh, this placenta smells funny. Splat. Smash their face into it.
I'm just picturing them feeding it to each other like wedding cake.
Yeah.
Like when people smash cake into faces.
Only if you're twins, though. That's the way the twins eat the placenta on their birthday every year.
Exactly.
The only thing that could have made this transition to a 90s flashback any better is if it had started like with Semi-Charmed Kind of Life.
Except it's slightly too late because it's 99.
Well, I mean, it would still be the one you hear in movies in 99.
That's fair. Or Two Princes by Spin Doctors.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes, but it is 1999. We do also see his mom's bowling ball. He tries to drop it on his brother's head. He doesn't do it.
This is just like a fantasy. He's explaining that like, hey, my brother's kind of an asshole to me because he is like, I don't know, always a douche. So he's like fantasizing about killing his brother.
It's because he ate too much placenta.
Yeah.
If you eat too much of it, it turns you evil.
There have been a lot of studies that are funded by RFK about how placenta does make you crazy.
You see, if you eat too much placenta, then when you grow old, you'll have the goatee, signifying that you're the evil twin.
The placenta, it makes you a little, it can, hold on 1 second.
Thank you. The placenta. It makes you evil.
It makes you evil. Like evil Spock. You grow up, and by 9, that kid's going to have a goatee, and we'll be like, that's the evil one. This is the worst timeline. Anyway, we find out that their dad went out for cigarettes and never came home.
Literally.
But I think what actually happened, because Adam Scott is their dad, we will find out.
Yeah.
I think he tried to kill that monkey, realized he couldn't, and just fled.
Yeah.
Fully. He lives out what Hal is doing.
Right.
When we get to older Hal. Like, he is isolating
Right.
himself from everybody because he thinks, because somebody died around me, if I get close to anybody, they'll die.
Yeah.
Which I guess is true, but that's not the right way to look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. And I do think if they ever, and I know they won't do a sequel because this is based on a Stephen King short story, but if they ever did a sequel, bringing him back to team up to fight the monkey, hell yeah. But then he'll just die in the first scene.
how dare you Iron Eagle 2 that movie, first off. Secondly, I will only watch that movie if Phil Collins does the soundtrack.
Oh, like Tarzan.
Yeah, that soundtrack slaps.
You guys hear about that song by Phil Collins where he saw that monkey kill that guy, but then he invited the monkey to his show?
Right,
So that-
right.
Go, 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 go.
That's the monkey. That's the monkey.
I can kill that monkey in this house tonight.
Hold on. I've been turning on this key for all my life. That was wild. It was wild that he hasn't been arrested.
You are a monkey. Just like a bunch of reverb on it. Sorry. All right, we got to stop making In the Air Tonight Phil Collins jokes.
Anyway, the two boys, they go through their dad's closet. They find his pilot uniforms, but they also find a blue hat box containing the organ grinder monkey that says, like life.
Yeah.
And they're like, I think they mean lifelike. No, they mean like life.
That's what Bill says, because Bill is, what was it? Every chance he gets a douche.
Right.
Yeah.
But we will find out later that it means like life in that it is unpredictable, you cannot control it, and ultimately you have to enjoy it while you have it. So like that is the heavy-handed metaphor that we will get to, but it works. We love it.
I actually think it's an awesome, like, the whole movie, meditation on, like, survivor's guilt and what it does to you or what it can do to you and how you, like, handle that.
I feel like that's you projecting your personal survivor's guilt onto this movie.
Oh, I definitely see a lot of that with Hal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Hal does what he does. Bill doesn't have the survivor's part of it, the survivor's guilt part of it, and he goes another crazy way that isn't always going to happen to you if you go through this.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, crazy.
I've been pretty upfront that the theme that resonates with me the most is letting this gripping fear of death sort of control your entire life.
Yes.
Which is again why like there's a ton of themes in here, including survivor's guilt, including generational trauma, including like
Yeah.
even strangely what it feels like to live with OCD in a way.
Yes, because Bill clearly has obsessive compulsive tendencies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And then, but one thing that I dislike about this movie, and I'm sorry to get it in so early, and I can't state enough, I love this movie. I hate how the movie will at certain times just be like, hey, did you see this cool message I'm trying to tell you? Did you see it?
Yeah. Like the pale horse at the end.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, the pale horse should have had the monkey on it, not some random guy we hadn't seen. It should have had the monkey, but that monkey has symbols.
You're telling me the fucking stripper got to be the monkey, but you couldn't pull the
you!
fucking hood
Thank
down
you!
and eat some monkey too? Yes.
I like that it has symbols because it's symbolism.
Exactly, Paige. That's why I said that. My
I
symbols
know,
was
but I
spelled
was
with an
just-
S. Yeah, that my joke was better written. You're right.
I did not get it. That's
It's all right. Most people didn't, but they're laughing now, so it's fine.
There you go.
I sure am. Jesus Christ. I'm also realizing you're making a symbolism joke and you were making a symbols joke.
Yes.
It's got layers. It's real nice.
Layers.
My point is that every so often a movie will do this, and this one is not nearly as bad as the worst to ever do it, in my opinion, which is The Dead Don't Die. That movie that is just like, have you seen it?
No.
I saw a trailer for it.
Don't watch it. The Dead Don't Die feels like it feels like a horror movie made in the universe of Portlandia. It is not a
Oh, wow.
it's not a fun time.
It's got a huge cast, like Bill Murray, Adam Driver. I think I saw like Tilda Swinton in it. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I didn't watch it again. I just watched the trailer, but there was like a bunch of people in it.
It has an absolutely stacked cast and
Yeah.
also like a bunch of people working on it that you're like, holy shit, this movie's gonna rip, and then it sucks because the whole movie is that. The whole movie is heavy-handed, like do you see what I'm doing here? Look, the pale horseman's a monkey. It's just that over and over and over again. This movie does it every so often, and that was one of them. The like life and the pale horseman are, and honestly, the whole cheerleader bit that we'll get to later is, those are my 3 complaints about this movie. I've gotten them out of the way. Let's go forward. I'm so sorry.
I did not hate the cheerleaders, but
they were the best of the 3 examples in my mind.
Yeah. But they turn the key on the monkey, and they also find nudie playing cards that Bill takes to go masturbate with, locking his brother out of the room.
Nice.
And that's the first death in the movie.
Yeah, the emotional death.
No, it's all the unrealized children that Bill lost in that sock.
Oh, that's right. I forget that you're one of those guys who believes that life starts at skeeting.
Okay, for the joke, yes, that's what I was playing on, but I really am not.
Anyway, the babysitter shows up, and she's going to take them out to a hibachi restaurant that night. And she's clearly in love with Benihana.
Can I just say, and I'm so glad you said it that way, Paige, because I definitely think her and the guy doing the hibachi don't know each other, but they would have been having sex in a week if she hadn't died right here. Because they were giving each other eyes. Like, Mondo, I see the face you're giving me. He made a heart out of rice and then made it beat for her. You saw it.
I agree. Oh, okay. I had a different read on the situation, which is that they are already doing it.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my read too.
Yeah.
See, that's more dark because then that guy kills his girlfriend.
Well, but okay, but here's why I read it that way, because hibachi restaurants be expensive.
Yes.
Ain't nobody trying to take random kids to that shit. They're definitely there for free. And if it hadn't have been the knife, it would have been the onion tower.
She just becomes the top of the volcano, sets her on fire.
It sets her on fire.
That'd be so funny.
He's trying to flip water onto her, but it's just a little bit.
But he's too busy also spinning the egg on the spatula, so he grabs the wrong water thing and it's just more lighter fluid.
Yeah.
You don't understand. If this egg stops spinning, we all die.
Yeah.
It's the Benihana rule.
It's like speed, guys.
Okay. All right.
This egg has to spin at 55 miles an hour.
I love how we built a whole Atlas myth where we're the egg being spun by the hibachi grill guy as he burns his girlfriend alive. That's how precarious life is, guys. And that's what I learned watching this movie.
One must imagine Benihana is happy. You simply must. My new 4th complaint is that the onion volcano isn't what killed her.
I think it's because they wanted to light other people on fire, and they're like, we can't do that every time.
I agree.
Absolutely. 2, I think it is fitting that it is darker that he kills this girl that he's clearly dating, because it fits into the theme of getting in this kid's mind, getting close to somebody is what is going to result in their untimely, awful death. And then 3, this is a side thing. My new favorite type of social media post is videos of babies being taken to Benihana for the first time. And the camera will pan from the grill to the baby as they do the onion fire volcano. And you just get to see this the babies are never ready for it. They're so great. I'll send you 15 of them.
Stupid fucking babies not being ready for the onion. What idiots. Actually, I kind of would. I want to go watch those now because I would love to see how I reacted to it the first time.
Right.
Yes.
Because I'm sure I was probably more than a baby. I was probably 8 or 9 though. And I was probably wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It would have been this childhood wonder.
There is a meme that circulates quite a bit, and it's a tweet where someone is like, I'll never forget the time that I went to Benihana as a kid, ate too much shrimp, and then threw up on the table and it cooked my throw up, which is gross. But that's all I was thinking about when I was like, oh, they slit her throat. Oh, no. And then her severed head falls onto the grill.
It's
and I was
so
like,
funny, Paige. I was I wasn't going to eat any of that anyway because the seafood on the platter. But I'm going to definitely not eat it now.
I didn't know they served head cheese here. Oh.
Hey, that Benihana cook got that head he was always asking for. Hey, oh.
Hey.
He got it for himself too, which is darker.
Yeah,
Darker.
it's pretty upsetting.
Also, a kitchen knife could not sever a head.
Wow.
You're not
the
trying
way-
hard enough. There are plenty of serial killers who can prove you otherwise.
Well, I mean, you'd have to saw it. Like, you couldn't one swoop.
Oh, I'm not saying her boyfriend isn't very impressive. I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's possible, Paige. He's a Benihana chef. That dude's got skills.
I'm just saying, as someone who used to sharpen knives for a living, it's not possible.
Have you never taken the Benihana final exam to be one of these guys? Like, that's the first part of it. Can you decapitate your girlfriend?
They're like, first onion volcano, second decapitation.
Yeah.
I love this world that Todd's building where this guy was the greatest Benihana cook to ever. He's the Anakin Skywalker.
He's on the billboards, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
He killed his girlfriend and younglings.
But this incident was the one that made him give it all up. And
Yeah.
when Benihana needed him most, they took a helicopter out to his Japanese-style cabin in the woods, and he was slicing wood with his kitchen knife. And they were like, "We need you back." And he was like, "I swore I'd never do this again."
And his girlfriend's like, "Don't go." And he's like, "I gotta go." And he's like, but come see me at work. Maybe bring those kids you're babysitting. We'll get them some free food. Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm doing this in the future. Also, by the way, his girlfriend's fine because her head fell on the grill and cauterized the wound. So it's all good.
She's just like, she's in his torso Krang style, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, like Crank, where she's the villain of the sequel, where her head's just in a jar like the one in Crank that's just like, Chef Chelios, like that. Yeah.
Guys,
I love this. This is what a great universe we're making out of this insane movie.
somebody call the directors of Cranked.
Neville Dean and Taylor, what's up?
Yeah. Anyway, the babysitter's dead, probably by her boyfriend's hand, and the kids are traumatized. So that's the end of the third scene or whatever.
Yeah. We let him cook and look what happened.
This is why you can't let a man cook, Mondo. It's dangerous.
By the way, we're about 8 minutes
I know.
into this
We're
movie.
so early in this movie, guys.
I love it so much. We cut immediately to her funeral, where we find out that her name was Annie Wilkes, which I thought was kind of a fun nod to Misery.
I'm sure it's a nod. It's got to be a nod.
Yes.
Because that's another Stephen King property, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
I do love the priest at the funeral.
He's terrible.
He walks up to the pulpit full on like, "Hey, I'm only here so I don't get fined by God." Like that is his
Yeah.
vibe the whole time. He's like supposed to be the vessel of the divine, but his vibe is very much like, this is just my day job. I'm just trying to grow my Twitch channel. Come watch me on stream on Twitch where I'll be streaming Revelations chapter 6 through 9 or whatever. Like it's like that kind of vibe.
Can I give you my read on why the priest was so bad at their job, and you tell me what you think about it?
Give it.
Okay.
Okay, I've seen this movie twice now, and I've been trying to piece together what some of because the movie will hand you these things, and they are metaphors or, examples of stuff. I think that the reason that the priest was so bad at their job was to sort of outline this feeling that Hal has, which is that, like, you can go look for meaning in religion or these places like this, and you will find, if you are terrified about this like Hal is, that it is not as helpful. And from his perspective, he feels like this priest or religion as a whole doesn't know what they're talking about just as much as he doesn't know what's going on.
It's just people trying to figure out shit as people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's pointing out that, the answers you're looking for will not be found from a guy in a dress. Like because there isn't really an answer, I think, is the point of it. The answer is you've got to accept it because it's like a natural part of life and you're alive, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, I don't know how Osgood Perkins feels about like religion, although it does come up a lot in his movies and they're not positioned great in a lot of his movies, which I kind of like because that jives with my worldview. But I could understand why it might not hit you in a very like good way.
It doesn't hit me in a bad way because even within the confines of religion, you have to understand that the other people in the religion with you are also just people. That's why on cult podcasts, whenever somebody's like, I have all the answers, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Because you're also a person.
That's like the whole thing about God is that we're like, we can't know. We can't
know. That's part of it is like, you have to kind of choose what you will believe that makes you feel the most comfortable with life and death and everything. And that'll take a bunch of different forms. And as long as it's not hurting other people, great. but never assume that one person knows more than you. We are all clueless, like no matter what, right?
Right.
And we're so used to having like a central figure like a priest that sort of has the answers, has it figured out, is sort of like a guiding beacon.
Like Father Karras in The Exorcist. There are plenty of examples of that in movies.
Even in the fucking Final Destination.
Oh, yeah.
You have the coroner who I think is deaf by the third movie.
Yes, Tony Todd. Yes,
they just straight up are like, yeah, he's deaf.
He's not in the third movie, by the way. Just
That's
one
right.
voiceover, and then it gets weird after that. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I love that movie so much.
I love Final Destination movies. They're nuts. Like, they're great.
I love them. I love that one specifically because it was the first one I watched, and I had the DVD, and I played the game that was like flip
where
a
you
chord.
can choose who dies.
Yeah, and then every choice you make, the movie just is the same.
Yeah.
Which I guess is the point of the whatever.
Actually, somebody in the Facebook group has also done it and revealed that there is a set of choices you can make so that Richie Cheeks survives.
What?
And he's the lone survivor.
Whoa.
Yeah. Apparently there are choices you can make.
All right, I'm going to eBay and buying a DVD player right fucking now.
I love that the thing you need to have to like watch this movie isn't the DVD. You have that already. You need the DVD player, and that to me is hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like a guy who buys vinyl with no record player.
Yeah, that's why I have my background blurred so you can't see all the vinyl I have next to my not working record player. My point is yeah, it's not necessarily I think that religion is stupid, but more that like to how anyone in a position where he could go to for advice on this horrifying subject comes off as a complete and utter fucking moron. Like no one understands what is happening, and I think that's why they did that. It's also a very funny bit because the first time I watched it, I just assumed that the priest had also died, and this guy was like, oh, I guess I gotta fill in. I'm an altar boy normally. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Right.
If you love a good scare but hate waking up in a sweat after a horror movie marathon, Miracle Made sheets might be for you. These sheets use silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA to keep you at the perfect temperature all night so you can sleep soundly, even after a jump scare or two. Plus, the silver helps prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, so your bed stays cleaner and fresher 3 times longer than regular sheets. Upgrade your sleep this year. Go to trymiracle.com/comfort to try Miracle Made sheets today. Whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo COMFORT at checkout, you'll get a free 3-piece towel set and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Again, that's trymiracle.com/comfort to treat yourself.
Instacart is on a mission to have you not leave the couch this basketball season because between the pregame rituals and the postgame interviews, it can be difficult to find time for everything else. So let Instacart take care of your game day snacks or weekly restocks and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes because we hear it's bad luck to be hungry on game day. So download the Instacart app today and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Service fees apply for 3 orders in 14 days. Excludes restaurants.
Anyway, at this point, after the funeral, the mom is like, let's go dancing. Let's go home and dance and enjoy life.
She actually like gets them ice cream. We see them eating ice cream I think it's at the gravesite.
Yeah.
And she explains death to them kind of. And it's like a sad, quick explanation of like, I'm going to die one day. You're going to die one day. It's a part of life. And she's like, but let's go dancing. Like, let's just enjoy life while we have each other in it, you know?
At the end, she's like, I'm going to die. You're going to die. Somebody else is going to die. Sometimes you die peacefully and quickly. Sometimes you die tied up in a basement praying for death. And I was like, did she kill the dad? No, she didn't. But he says in the voiceover after they go dancing, that was the happiest day of my life.
Yeah, ice cream, dancing? Sounds great.
Sounds great. But I was like, what? Until the end of the movie when he's like, let's go dancing. And you realize the significance of the dancing of like, we are not going to let this drag us down. We still have to live, whatever.
I saw that let's go dancing as a thematic, like, let's just live our life to the fullest kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. We cut to him at school being bullied by the creepiest, scariest group of teenage girls I've ever seen. But I love that they're like, we heard that your dad left your mom because you cry all the time and your mom deserves better, don't she? Don't she? And I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I kind of agree with you. Like, it does suck that my mom left my dad. Why are you yelling at me about that? Like,
Right.
yeah, my dad is an asshole. Like, I agree.
Right. Well, and two people can't be wearing pants in the family, so they steal his pants. He has to go home in boxers.
Which is a very creative way to bully a child.
Sure.
It is. Mondo, I don't know that, and this is probably because I've always been dumb. I don't know that if a room full of like girls asked me to take my pants off, that I would feel initially at least like I was being bullied. We could just leave it there. That's fine.
I was just like, I understand that for you.
In fact, the bullying is part of it for him.
It's not.
This it's not. I like when they're nice to me.
Yeah, it's not.
I feel like this was, if not this point in the movie, right after it was when I started to realize that a lot of the dialogue is not how people talk, but how it feels. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the perception of what people are saying.
yeah, if you frame it through like in reality, in whatever, if we're saying that Hal is a real person, creators, they make stuff, artists make things, this is a person, world within world, whatever. This isn't how it happened in Hal's childhood, but it is how it feels, because this is how, whatever they were saying, this is what he heard, internalized, has as a child, whatever.
Which I love the way that plays out when we meet Chip, but we'll get there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about it.
I completely, yeah. I think that's a really interesting thing that the movie does that sort of fits into that, like, okay, I get it, it's heavy-handed, but I like it in a way. And I think a lot of it is just the line reads that a lot of these actors give.
It could be. I mean, and Osgood Perkins did both write and direct this, right? So, like,
yes.
The writing cracks me up because it is everyone being as blunt as possible. And I do think you're right. I think it is like the way it feels and the perception of that dialogue as opposed to what they said in the moment.
I agree completely. And this whole section is sort of a flashback, right? Because we're hearing this as like Hal, grown up, is like telling us the story in voiceover, kind of, you know?
Yeah.
So like it makes sense that he would be talking in a way that is like, this is how this moment made me feel, and like what they were kind of saying, but they had a more flowery, stupid way of saying it, but I just made it easy for you by just telling you exactly what they summed up, you know?
Yeah. We'll also see this later with what happens with his mom. And then at the end of the movie, when they like flash back to it again, where like,
yeah.
I guess this is a bit of a spoiler. I'm sorry. We're going to talk about it in 5 seconds, but
yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah.
His mom passes away, and it's a terrifying, horrible, awful visual that is scary, especially if you're like putting yourself in the mind of a child. And then later in the movie, it flashes forward, and you see it again, but it's not as scary. You know, there's not like blood splurting out of the eyes, and like,
right.
It's just like a woman having like a heart attack or something, or a what do you call it? An aneurysm.
It's an aneurysm, yeah. Which you wouldn't be able to see it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be able to see the repercussions of it, but you wouldn't see like their head explode kind of like it does.
Absolutely.
Or just leak all that blood, you know?
So, yeah, I think that most of the movie, especially what's happening now during the flashback, is just how it feels.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Let's keep moving along.
I agree. Mondo, I think that's a very cool distinction. I'm glad you pointed it out. Yeah.
Anyway, he goes home from being bullied, and who's there but the monkey? And he's like, hey, Mom, did you put the monkey in there? And she's like, no, I don't go in your room because you guys masturbate.
That is essentially what she says. Which we sort of talked about it a second ago, but like Bill did take the nudie cards into the bathroom. So like,
he made them into a loaded deck.
Yeah.
They're about to be 53 cards, if you know what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Joker's wild.
The Joker's pregnant, Paige.
We cut to him kind of laying in bed trying to sleep at night. And this is when he kind of like asks the monkey, he's like, you didn't have anything to do with the babysitter's death, did you? And I was like, why would you assume that? Like, why would that be the logic jump? It is completely implausible.
Right?
But I don't care. We're going to keep going. His brother walks in on him talking to the monkey and is like, you should say that I want to be Mrs. Stupid Monkey and suck its banana. And like, I'm the oldest and it's technically my monkey because I'm like the nextest of kin. And if you don't say it, I'm going to eat the rest of your placenta, which is such a crazy thing to say. But we cut to, he gets bullied the next day at school. He gets covered in bananas. And at this point, he's mad at Bill because apparently Bill is in league with the bullying girls at school. And he turns the key and wishes that Bill was dead. Now, we see Bill come home in a Guy Fieri shirt from Flavortown, I assume.
Is it? Oh, he is wearing like the flames and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, it rips. Because it's the 90s, Todd, so everyone looked sick as hell.
Yeah. Everyone was like filled like to their eyelids with donkey sauce.
That's why you got to put it into that sock.
That's what's up. The monkey drums, and he walks into the kitchen where his mom has had the aneurysm and is bleeding everywhere. We cut to the funeral where they're sitting with their aunt and uncle, and they're like, apparently it was this, very rare kind of aneurysm. There was nothing you could do. It just happens. It just decides whoever it's going to kill next. And at this point, Hal believes he has unlocked the, I guess, MO of the monkey of you turn the key and when the hand comes down, it decides who to kill next.
It's random, yes.
Like life. It is random. But we cut to Bill stands up at the funeral and yells for his mom to wake up because Bill has suffered a psychotic break. At this point in the movie, we will find out. Meanwhile, back at the house, Hal tries to chop up the monkey and, ooh, it's blood inside it.
Yeah, like it's alive or something?
Or something.
It's definitely or something.
Regardless, he tries to kill it, but who should interrupt him while he's doing it but his uncle, who I have in my notes as Chops because of his mutton chops, but it is director Osgood Perkins, who's basically like, hey man, we never wanted to be parents. We're going to try our best, but be prepared. It might be bad. Also, we're swingers. All right, good talk. And then leave.
I do love that he just comes in as the most aggressively honest person ever and is like, hey, look, we never wanted kids and we're swingers, so you're definitely going to see some things,
Right. Meanwhile, he throws the monkey away in a garbage truck and then they move to Casco, Maine.
Yeah, I love that they throw it away where they are and then move.
Right.
Because you'd be like, oh, it's never going to find them. But like the monkey always knows.
The monkey always knows. But this is where we now reveal that Bill won't take his suit off. Because Bill says if he takes his suit off, then he'd have to put it back on for another funeral, which means someone's going to have to die. But if I never take it off, then I never have to put it back on, which means there's never another funeral because no one will die again. And it's like, oh no, we need to talk to a professional.
Yeah, this is the beginning of what happens to Bill.
Yes. But they put them to bed. We get a close-up shot of Fiesta-ware ring mugs. What's up, Paige's Cookware Corner? Yes. Very popular in the 70s to the 90s. You can still sometimes buy them today, mostly on eBay. Anyway, the light flickers. And at this point, I was like, how are we only 27 minutes into the movie? But it is. The monkey eyes light up in the night. And this is where Bill is like, hey, that monkey is clearly evil, and I was going to marry the babysitter. And I love that Hal is like, I know you were. I know you were meant to be together.
Yeah, because Hal's the kind of brother who, like, is just there to support and, like, yeah, you can do whatever you think you can do, buddy. And Bill's like a douche every chance he gets.
I was going to go to Benihana, man. I was going to learn how to spin an egg, man. We were just kids, man.
She was the onion volcano in my heart.
I'm sorry. I'm building an apocalypse now, but it's just like, I'm still in Benihana. I'm always in Benihana.
You just hear like some CCR and helicopters in the background, like
yeah. And then he gets to Benihana and turns off his car, and you realize he was playing it on his stereo.
Some men were born to chop the steak.
At that Benihana.
Benihana, if you're listening, and I know you are, please get after us. Benjamin Hanna, I know you are listening to this show.
Benjamin Edward Hanna, please get at us.
Benjamin Entertainment Hanna, please.
That's the E in Ben E. Hanna, guys. It's Ben Entertainment Hanna.
Send up the green flame through the onions so we know that this movie has been greenlit, please.
The onion calls for aid. I like how you combined kind of what they do when they elect a new pope,
Yeah.
But it was the green flame for the green lit. I loved it. It was great.
Thank you.
Poetic.
Thank you.
So good.
Also, can you believe we missed out on having a pope whose last name was like Pizzarella?
Oh, come on.
Oh, no, it was Pizza Balla.
That's even better.
Oh.
I do love me a nice spicy pizza balla.
Yeah. Pizza shops in New York are fucking dead right now.
Does this mean Chicago style is the way now?
Yeah, it is the way that Lord intended. It is the most holiest that you can get.
I mean, I like pizza lasagna, but it's not pizza to me.
Well,
It's good. It just doesn't feel like pizza to me.
I like pizza in general in all its forms.
Yeah, same. I love Chicago style pizza.
Yeah.
But I only go when I want to be like, what would a pizza casserole taste like in my mouth right now?
I'm a pan pizza sexual, and
yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I only eat pizzas if I've read enough books to earn them.
That's very personal of you. Yeah, I like to imagine bread as the body of Christ. So I love a Chicago deep dish because I like to imagine Christ is really thick.
Nice.
Thank you.
And now I'm a new Patria Spiritu sandwich.
Mm.
I am excited because I'll be in Chicago in July, and I am going to go eat as much deep dish as I physically can.
I'm so jealous. I love Chicago food.
Get some Portellos and Garrett's.
Hey, Portillo's, the Chicago dog, the Chicago
Hell
deep
yeah.
dish. I love a people who know how to make a guy the size of a polar bear, and I want to eat their food all the time.
Looking forward to being thin there. It's my favorite whenever I go to Texas or other places in the Midwest, and they're just like, "You're not plus size.
Yeah.
You're regular." And I'm like, these are my people.
Todd, I don't know that this is a true delight that you'll ever know. Unfortunately, I'm very sorry. But to live the lives that we live and then go to the Midwest and hear, have you been eaten? And just going, oh.
Have you been what?
Eaten.
Oh, I live in the South, man. Like, we hear that on the, like, every day.
But you skinny. This is what we're saying. We get victimized as fat people all the time. And then we go to the Midwest and they're like, y'all need more biscuits. It's beautiful.
It's fucking awesome. I live in Los Angeles where I can't even find a shirt in my size. And then I go out there and they have shirts twice my size. That's insane.
Yes.
So wait, you're saying that so many people from California are moving to Nashville right now because they just want to find clothes in their size?
No. I'm saying that it is finally a relief for us to be treated human in other parts of the country.
Yeah, no, I get why you wouldn't want to live there. That's why I don't live there. Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah, Mondo, I get that LA sucks. You hate
does
living
not.
in the blue bubble. I get it, bro. Come to Nashville where you'll live in another giant blue bubble.
No, that's not what we're saying at all. We're saying that we have to live here to achieve our dreams, but it is nice to sometimes have a reprieve from the specific type of persecution we face.
Yeah.
I think you would both find persecution in the South for different reasons. Yeah.
In different ways, yes.
Yeah.
But for this specific type, it's nice to have a brief reprieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously me for being brown and Paige for being a witch, a practicing
Yes.
witch.
If by which you mean woman with opinion, yes.
Yes. Yes. Historically, witch.
What do you mean you want health care?
How dare you? How dare you? I saw her in the woods with Goody Proctor.
What, is Goody Proctor her doctor? Because that would be the best doctor of proctology.
They would.
Hey, I'm a Goody Proctor, doctor of proctology.
Oh, I was looking for Grady Proctor. I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong office.
I'm going to start cranking this monkey if you guys don't move on with this movie.
Yeah, we got to move on. So Bill is like, if you crank the monkey, it kills somebody, right? So let's see who it kills. And they crank the monkey, and then we get my favorite death in the entire movie.
The mom's death is your favorite, you sociopath?
No, the mom died. The mom died already. We covered that like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, shit.
They're living with the uncle and the aunt now.
They're
Yeah,
living
my
with the
bad.
uncle and the aunt.
My bad.
And we
Yeah.
cut immediately to the funeral. Like,
Yes.
this is like turn crank funeral, where we find out that he was camping, fell asleep, and was trampled to death by 67 wild horses, so that all they had of his body was just sludge that they dump out of a sleeping bag. And I have not laughed that hard in a long time.
It's incredible.
It's so funny.
Oh, you mean how Chip dies? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's hilarious.
It's great.
I mean, he basically dies like the dad in The Man from Snowy River, but he ends up looking like the pie from American Pie. And that was
Exactly.
funny to me.
My favorite was just the horses trampling on that sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Just the visual of it was so good. So funny. But this is where they decide to drop that monkey down a well, because they're like, we'll never go back to it. Spoiler, Bill's definitely going to go back to it later. But
like soon after this moment. I love that we got that flashback later on. We'll get there. But yeah, I like that.
yes,
Yeah, but Hal is like, well, we should get rid of this.
we should get rid of it so the Nazis and the Russians and the Iraqis don't have it. And you're like, oh, children. Because you realize that this is what? 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what you're saying is it's pre-September of that year.
No, I think it's post-September of that year, and that's why they listed Iraqis.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I have a theory that maybe they were cranking it on September 10th, 2001, and a lot, and they may have done it too much.
Too many times.
And I can say that because I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but my father was actually supposed to be cranking a monkey in New York.
In the towers?
Your father was an organ grinder in New York on
In New
September
York.
11th? Yeah.
Yeah. My father left my brother, Robert Pattinson, in one of the towers.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I forgot about that movie. Holy shit.
How could you forget about Remember Me, my man?
That movie is why we have a running joke on Romancing the Pod that Pierce Brosnan was an inside, activist on 9/11, that he knew it was going to happen. Thanks, Mom.
You mean The Truth?
Remember Me, by the way, is one of the very few other DVDs that I own. I own the third Final Destination.
I also have it.
And I think I gave it to you because I have 7 copies of Remember Me that I hand out to people.
I have multiple copies of Remember Me because, yes, you gave me one, but also listeners have sent me at least one.
I have 2 from listeners. Yeah.
Yeah. And then listeners have also sent me, or one listener in particular, sent me a DVD of Christmas shoes.
I got Christmas shoes too. Yeah.
I'm wondering if this is how I've gotten all of this. Is the problem with being a comedian, is that I don't remember the bits once they leave my mouth.
Exactly.
So
Sure.
Yeah.
I think I have 7 copies of Remember Me because people keep sending them to me.
Honestly, a few times a month I'll get tagged on something I said on a podcast in Facebook. And I'm just like, I have no memory of saying that.
No.
Just because I said it once to my friends in a conversation. I don't remember that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it gets worse the longer you do it. Somebody will be like, I love the joke you made in episode 46 of Cult Podcast. And you're like,
That was 6 years ago.
I know.
I was 20.
I don't remember this at all. Anyway, we cut to 25 years later, where they think they have bested this monkey by dropping it down a well.
Well, Hal at least does. Bill knows the truth.
Yes, but we cut to the house. We know it is because the uncle's photo is up. And we see the aunt walking around. She pulls a gun. And at first you're like, oh no, is somebody after her? She follows the circus music down into the basement. A light clicks on and the stairs collapse, causing her to fall into a pile of fishing lures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she falls into a tackle box, I guess.
Right. To lay this out timeline-wise. So the uncle dies in the past. They put it in the well. The aunt was planning to move and had a yard sale.
Yeah.
Where she sold the monkey and then died the next day, which we will establish in a few minutes. But it's because, and this is a little out of order, that kid that buys it at the yard sale, they crank it once, that kills her.
Yes.
So she falls into fishing lures, takes them out of her face, rubs down her face with alcohol.
Oh.
And then goes to cook in the kitchen. There's a gas leak. She moves the pot, puts her face too close. It ignites. It lights her alcohol face on fire. She runs outside, steps in a trash can, and then trips into the for sale sign in front of her house.
Which she ends up impaled on.
Yes.
Right.
On fire.
On fire. This is the most Final Destination of them. But the thing that I like is that it's not fake outs. It's no, all of these things hit her.
She dies like the way Benny Hill died, I assume.
Yeah.
It's like a comedy of errors all along the way.
It's a Rube Goldberg machine, but it's just 11 guns shooting at the same time.
Yeah. Has anyone investigated his brother, Benny Honda?
The E stands for evil.
Ooh.
Benny Execution Hana.
This kill rips. But for some reason, when I was watching it, and even now hearing it again from you, it felt like the meanest of all the kills.
Yeah, for no reason. She's not that evil.
It's not. It's also, arguably, it might not be the most painful, because I feel like being trampled by 67 horses until you are goo in a sleeping bag is arguably a more painful death. But this is so many things.
She's awake for a lot of it. I don't know. I feel like this would be a bad way to go too. Although trampling, I think, would be worse.
I think you die a lot faster in trampling. The first horse to get your head, you're gone.
You're gone.
Probably. I'll say the cannon at the end is the best way to go. Like, you're just gone.
Yes.
Or the pool.
Yeah, because instantly gone as well.
The pool is pretty good. But yeah, she fell into the lures, has cut up face, alcohol, which burns, and then literally burns because of the alcohol. And then it's just, there's so many things where I was like, okay, fuck this lady, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's the point of the movie. Like, it's random. It can happen to anybody at any point.
Sure.
I think part of the reason they made this one so distinct and strange is because this is the one that signals to Billy that the monkey is back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is not a complaint of the movie. I just remember watching it and being like, oh, okay, all right.
Yikes.
All right. Seems weirdly mean to this one particular lady, but okay.
But we cut to Theo James, modern day, working at a grocery store, being like, hey, I'm going to go leave to spend the week with my son because I see him once a year and I'm taking him to horror heaven. And this is his boss, who we will see later, who also dies a crazy death.
I just call him the guy that sucks. Because Theo Vaughn walks over and is like, hey, I gotta...
It's not Theo Vaughn.
Or not Theo Vaughn, sorry.
Theo James. Although Theo Vaughn in this movie would be bonkers.
I know.
Also, if you told me that Theo Vaughn had a son he's only allowed to see once a year, too, I would also believe it.
I'd also believe it, yeah. I do love that when Theo James comes over, he goes, hey, I got to leave early because I got to go get my son. And he goes, you have a son? That sucks. And then, like, everything he says, he's like, oh, that sucks.
That sucks.
This is what I mean about I genuinely do kind of love the parts in this movie that just, they are what they feel like. And you cut to his boss being a child, a vaping, cloud-blowing child who is just always a dickhead.
Yes.
It's great.
But he does, in this moment, quote Revelation and the behold a pale horse section.
Right.
That'll come back later. But we cut to him pulling up and filling out a birthday card that just says, have a stellar birthday, love Hal, parentheses, dad. But he shows up and we meet his replacement, if you want to think of it that way, played incredibly by Elijah Wood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. I forgot about Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood, who is what I could only describe as an alpha douchebag psychiatrist.
Yes.
I love that, like, so one of the books is the one that he's reading in the grocery store in the scene before this, and it's like Brotherhood 7 or whatever, Volume 7. But then the other book just says Jesus's son, and it's got a picture of Elijah Wood on it. Like, that's how great he thinks he is.
I think this is just pointing out the other side of the religion doesn't know what it's talking about debate.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's Jesus's dad.
Oh, that's right.
It's Jesus's dad on the book.
That's better, honestly. That's so much better.
I don't know if it's a shot at religion as much as like the idea that like deep down Hal does want to be connected to this kid. He does care about this kid.
Right.
But it's hard to make the argument when you think you're going to kill this kid and his stepdad is this guy who is supposedly like the expert on being a father.
Not only that, I love that for the rest of the movie, because we literally only see him in like 2 scenes. They describe him as, quote, the leading expert in his field. No matter what. It doesn't matter what the field is. It is just this idea that we ascribe leading expert to random assholes.
Yeah, like Paige, there are tons of fields I've made up that I'm the leading expert in.
Yeah.
We have been featured in at least one documentary because we were seen as experts in our field.
That's why Oprah Mag fucked with us.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, he shows up. He's going to take the kid away for a week. But basically, Elijah Wood's like, I'm going to adopt this kid because you're an asshole. And this is the last you'll ever see him. So basically, make the most of this week because that's it.
Yeah, he's just, I don't really think Hal's an asshole, but because of the way he's dealing with the trauma he hasn't gone to therapy for from his youth,
right,
he is isolating himself from everyone around him because he falsely thinks that that's going to keep them from dying.
Sure.
Which it's totally not.
I meant that's how Elijah Wood is talking to him, is like,
oh, and that's what he says. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. We just know Hal's side, so we see it more sympathetically. But that's, from Elijah Wood's point of view, exactly what I would think too.
Yeah.
Also, from anyone else's point of view. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
As the child of a dad who wasn't there and a terrible stepfather, you're just like, no matter what the reasoning is, you're just like, fuck that guy. What the hell?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Anyway, we cut to a kid buying the monkey at the garage sale, which the movie is not super clear that this is a flashback. This is Sunday of the week. We've already seen Monday when the ant dies.
Right.
But he takes it home and he turns the crank. That's why the ant dies. But he doesn't know that that's why. He is drawn to the monkey. It reminds him of his father somehow, which I think is the monkey trying to pick a new victim.
Oh, I thought it was because Adam Scott, as a pilot, probably had a family up in Maine too.
Possibly.
And so the monkey reminded this child of his dad, who was Adam Scott as well.
Very possible.
That's what I initially thought. And then I wondered if the movie was just literally trying to be like, this is a movie for guys with daddy issues, and every guy with daddy issues sees the monkey and is like, I want it, because part of me wanted the monkey.
I honestly, I really liked the monkey. I thought it was really...
It is cool.
If somebody had like a Funko Pop version of the monkey, I would absolutely. Like, I think it's so cool.
A Munko Pop, please.
Yeah.
A Munko Pop.
A Munko Pop, yeah.
But we cut to Hal having a nightmare, and it's, again, the monkey bringing the drumstick down and his mom dying. And he wakes up and the room is like 86 degrees because apparently his son is a lizard, and he like turns it down to 74 to be less lizardy.
They're in like a hotel room though. So like, have you ever like gotten to a hotel room so late and you were so tired, you just like crashed, And then you woke up and you're like, why is the thermostat set to 80?
Yes,
Who was in here before me? That happened to me at my the last convention I went to, and I turned it down to 68 immediately and went back to sleep.
Oh, yeah. It's the first thing I do in any hotel room, and it's a learned behavior to walk in and immediately reset the thermostat.
I always forget.
Yes.
But yeah, it's always a problem for me.
Mine is I go immediately to the nightstand, I pull out the Bible, and I flip to the right page and I read the passage. Otherwise, everyone I know will die.
Oh, thank you for doing that. I'm glad I haven't died.
Yes,
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
It's the only thing keeping me and all my friends alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I ask what that passage is?
It's the one that says ass in it because I thought it was funny.
I was about to say the one where Balaam ties his ass to a tree and walks 30 miles.
Yes.
Yo, that ass was thick if he could walk 30 miles with his ass tied to the tree. You know what I'm saying?
The stretchiest man in the Bible.
Yeah.
I thought it was something like one of the Psalms or something. Your graceful legs are like jewels, the work of an artist's hands.
All right, Todd.
Yeah. Mountains like titties. Yeah.
All right, Todd, you got me. I don't know the Bible that well.
This is a thing that comes up on Cult Podcast all the time, where I will reveal things that are in the Bible, and Armando would be like, fucking what? And I'm like, yes.
Dude, I gotta read this book.
It's not bad, actually.
Mondo, I have a podcast. Let's do this. I am going to tell you stories from the Bible, like the dollop. I'll be like the Dave Anthony version on the dollop, and you'll be Gareth.
Okay.
You'll be like, wait, Bathsheba?
Okay, but I want to also be on that podcast to occasionally be like, that's only in the Mormon one. Because that has happened to us a handful of times.
Oh, with the
Yeah.
Cain being Bigfoot, that one?
Yeah, well, Cain being Bigfoot is one that I found separately, but there was one where you said to Mikey, it was like, yeah, because this and this, and we were like, we were never taught that. Like, that was never in our version.
Yeah, there's a bunch of that shit, though. And when you grow up in a cult, like, you don't know if other people know the truth. So you gotta tell them the truth, Paige.
Absolutely, I get it.
Yeah, how else are we going to know about Jesus coming to America? Anyway, it was wild that he worked at McDonald's for a while.
Yeah, everyone thinks Noah was the only person in boats, and like that was like the height of advanced technology. But what you didn't know is the people who came to America did so in submarines powered by glowing rocks.
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm not joking.
I know you're not joking, because I read the thing about Bigfoot hanging onto the bottom of the ark.
you're telling me? Well, yeah, that was wild.
His name is Kong, Paige.
I do remember that from Cold Podcast because we said he fucking Cape feared it shit underneath.
It's really Cape fear because he's in the ocean.
Yeah.
Todd, you're telling me that Mormonism is a religion that talks about how people have to go through water to sneak into America, and sometimes they're named Jesus?
Don't forget the glowing rocks.
Oh my God, this is the best religion I've ever heard of, buddy.
They got to hide the glowing rocks to smuggle them in.
I mean, yeah, but much like other religions, they've missed the point on their teachings.
I don't know if you can say that. I've been watching a lot of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, baby, and they've got it figured out.
Oh, God.
I refuse. If I wanted to watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I'd go to my family reunions.
But at your family reunion, is somebody doing TikTok dances in front of their child who's hospitalized?
Probably, Paige. I don't go to them.
Oh, man.
She's not on beat either.
God.
You did say she was Mormon, Paige.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did.
These Mormon wives, they always got their secret lives.
And magic underwear.
Well, only some of them wear the magic underwear. It's a point of contention. But my favorite is the girl who's like, so I'm Mormon, but I sleep with whoever I want. I drink and I'm divorced and like all that. And we're like, I don't think you are, girl. I think it's time to just like drop the title and pick something else.
There are some religions that are also ethnicities, and maybe she sees Mormonism that way.
She's culturally Mormon.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the movie.
Yeah. Get us out of this hole.
Because we're about to talk about the best death, second best, maybe the best. Anyway, Bill calls and Bill is like, hey man, I need you to go to our aunt's house because she just died in a weird way. I need you to see if the monkey's there. And he's like, why? I have to like, I've got my son. He's like, just go. But while he's having this phone call, he goes outside and he has turned on the air conditioner. It is now rattling down off the roof. And also, there's a hot lady in the pool.
Well, outside of the pool.
Outside in the pool.
Yeah.
She's outside. She's about to jump in.
Yes. She's like putting her towel down, and she's like about to get in the pool. Yeah.
It's like Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the air conditioner falls, hits the water on the sidewalk. It shorts. It sends a current into the pool just as the lady's about to jump. And Theo James is like, no, but it's too late. She jumps, and the second she hits the water, she explodes like a goddamn balloon into a pink mist, and one of her legs flies and hits Theo James in the face. And it's so funny.
But Paige, it's because unlike Tommy Boy, she wasn't dating one of the Yankees.
No.
She was dating one of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Boom! Sports joke from a musical guy. Come on.
I'm glad you knew one that had lightning. The only thing I could think of was like the Chargers, and it was not.
And I think technically the Chargers are horse. So as long as it's
Are
not
they?
67 Chargers.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I do think my joke is superior, Mondo. Thank you.
Yeah. I just know that their mascot is a Frankenfriar, which is I would guess, dead and reanimated priest.
Wait, I'm sorry. Whose team has a resurrected friar?
Oh, no, it's the Padres. It's the Padres that have a Frankenfriar.
Yeah.
That's
What?
who it is. Yeah. The Padres have a Frankenfriar. But only during Halloween. I think it's the Friar normally, and then for part of the year, it's Frankenfriar.
The Padres, is Spanish for father, their mascot
Right.
are the Catholics.
Yeah.
Anyway, this lady jumps in a pool and her leg does the spontaneous river dance, and it almost hits not Theo Vaughn. And, the scene ends.
Yeah, she kicks Theo James in the face post-mortem. But immediately, Theo James is like, we got to get the fuck out of here, because I think he knows he's going to get questioned by the police.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I did love that. His son's like, can we just, he's like, we got to get out of here right fucking now.
Right fucking now. But he kind of explains stuff to his son in the car, and his son is like, just take me to your aunt's house. Like, I kind of just want to know you and spend time with you, and you're not telling me anything. Like, you told me your mom's name, but like, I don't know anything else about the family tree. And so they decide to go to the aunt's house.
Well, he decides to bring his son with him, more or less. He, I think, was always going to go.
Right.
But maybe not with his son, like finish the weekend with his son and then go, But he's like, fine, we'll just go now, and I'll tell you more about my side of the family, since this is the last time we're going to see each other.
Right.
Because you're about to get adopted by who I think, if he wasn't already a psychiatrist, would be starting a religion like Scientology. Like that is Frodo's vibe.
Absolutely. But his son is like, well, what would your mom say? And he's like, she would say, take life as it comes and don't force it. Like, enjoy your life
Yeah.
and try not to kill everybody around you. Spoiler, it's a nightmare. So they go to the house and the realtor is there and is like, hey, here's my card. It's like, why would a kid need your card?
I love he's like, I'm one of those kids who's not like buying a bunch of houses right now. Barb,
Yeah.
all right?
But Barb also was like, well, your brother called and said you'd be buying. He's like, I didn't even know I had an uncle.
Yeah.
And my dad's been lying to me the whole time and this is all fucked up. And he's like, okay, fine, come in. They go in, and this is where Barb tells them about the estate sale that happened on Sunday where they made over $100.
She's like, we had a great turnout. We made over $100 selling a lot of shit from the inside of this house. And it's funny that they only made $100 off of it.
And she's like, it's been pretty messy around here because Sunday was the estate sale. Monday was your aunt. Tuesday was Mitch, who got run over by a lawnmower. Wednesday was Barry Bergerson, who got like steam burns on his face. Thursday was Nancy Rizzoli, who got bit by a cobra out of a golf course.
Yeah, she like gets like sinks her putt, goes over to get her ball out, and the snake bites her.
But
like on the throat. Like it doesn't bite her hand as she's reaching in.
No.
It goes for the throat.
It goes full fucking snakes on a plane, and her neck is a penis.
Yes. But she's telling him this as they're walking through the house, and she's trying to open a closet, and he's like, hey, maybe don't force it. She's like, no, I gotta do my due diligence. I gotta look through everything.
Yeah, I got to get the key for this, more or less.
But he's also like, hey, did you remember that there was like a monkey at the yard sale? She's like, no, was it like a good memory? He's like, no.
No, it's the manifestation of my generational trauma between me, my dad, and probably more than that. But like, yeah, it's not a toy, all right?
But yeah, she opens the cabinet and it turns out that there was a gun on a rack in the cabinet. It falls. It was loaded. It shoots her. She explodes.
It's a shotgun too. So
it's a shotgun.
The reason he doesn't get hit is because he gets kind of behind her a little bit, trying to like push her out of the way.
Right.
And so it like sprays like a shotgun. Like it's like it just falls down and like blows her in half. It like blows her all the way back to Vista Del Mar. Like it's so funny.
It's a way that I have actually heard of someone injuring themselves. Like
this happens all the time.
This happens all the time.
That's why you're not supposed to store your guns loaded.
Yes.
It's like that time Mikey went to go see his dad at a hotel and his dad shot a hole through the wall.
And his hand, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, on accident. Completely on accident.
I feel like me and Mikey need to hang out more.
Well, I feel like your father's propensity for guns.
Oh my God.
Is a commonality between y'all.
Yeah. The most should not be having guns ass motherfuckers to ever walk this earth.
Yes.
Are you like really estranged from your father?
Not as much anymore. No, my dad and I, we never really saw eye to eye. And
oh, so you're like a lot taller than he is?
Oh yeah. And I don't know. He's been supportive. He's been supportive of me, my life. He came to see me when I headlined out in Indio near Palm Springs, where you're going to be going.
Yeah, I'm going there next week.
And he said, I didn't really understand all that gay shit, but other people seem to like it, so good job. And I was like, thanks. What part of it was gay? I don't understand what's happening. So yeah, but my father has been arrested several times for unlawful possession of a firearm, and then he keeps buying guns. And it's like, dude, stop doing that.
That is a wild choice.
Yeah, it's very dumb.
Well, I mean, my dad's made some decisions like I haven't been happy with. I mean, I haven't talked to my dad since 2017.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's because he died.
Oh,
he
died.
Yeah. It's a choice I cannot support, Paige. Like, I cannot, honestly, like, I am so mad about it still.
Why'd he do that?
Yeah. I'll literally never talk to him again because of it, Mondo.
I know.
Well, you could get down on your knees and you could pray.
Right. Like I said, I'll never talk to him again. Yeah.
God.
Exactly.
Very good. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know Todd was estranged from his father, and it's like kind of a little bit.
It's a weird joke to make, but I felt like we could make it work, and I think we kind of did.
I think we did. I think we did a good thing here today, guys.
I definitely want to be the first to pat us on the back.
Anyway, he gets a call from, like, the police show up because a lady exploded.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me, Paige. Because a white lady exploded.
A white lady exploded. So they show up. But this is technically the second white lady that exploded because that pool lady was white too.
Oh, and the cops definitely showed up there too. Because they had to get out of there quick.
They were just already gone.
Yeah.
But they show up and they're like, we're going to have to ask you some questions, so please don't leave town. I'd tell you to stay here, but this place is gross. All right. So as they're talking to the cops, Bill calls and he's like, hey, go back to your hotel. Wait for my signal. He's like, wait a second. Are you living in town? Like, what the fuck?
But Bill's being very cagey. Like, we haven't seen Bill on screen since he was a child, right?
Right.
We're only hearing him through phone calls, and he's not really fully answering Hal's questions about, are you living in town? Like, what's going on? Tell me more. Do you have the monkey? Like, he's just not really divulging any information, just being very demanding, like an older brother.
Right. It's because you guys made it so hard for us and we had to care for you.
I actually, okay, my brother is not that way at all.
Wait, I get it, because he's dead. Ha ha. Very funny, Todd.
I actually do have an older brother who is still with us and is also not like this at all.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the joke I was going to make, yes.
Anyway, they look through the phone book and they find an entry for Mrs. Monkey. They call and it's Bill. And it's like, hey, if you saw my ad, I did find my monkey. Thank you for calling. At which point, Hal seems to kind of have figured out what's going on. But now we get Bill's perspective, which is just evil Theo James.
Yes.
This is very interesting to me because I don't know if you're going to agree with this, but I am of the mind that Theo James looks exactly like friend of the show Blaine Gibson.
Yes, 100%. I will say yes to that. And I'll say yes to that because I think they're both handsome.
They're extraordinarily handsome and very well built. And if you're gonna question me on it, it's the face shape.
It is the face shape.
Weird. That's what you recognized? For me, it was the dick.
Yeah, the flavor.
I don't see flavor.
Spank the monkey.
I don't see girth. Everyone's the same.
It's the cheekbones.
Yeah.
Where it is. The cheekbones and the hairline. But I almost think that Theo James looks like what Blaine will look like in 10 years. Does that make sense?
I agree with that. I don't think it's a 1-for-1, but they look so much the same to me that it's hard for me to not see it.
It's the cheekbones and jawline.
And also the way that they're... a little embarrassing that I would notice this, but it's the way that their beard grows, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's what it was for me, honestly.
Yeah, that's such a specific thing to point out. I love Blaine so much.
And let's just say it. Let's just put a button on this. Blaine, you're hot. We're all, each of us saying you are honestly my hottest friend.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Definitely top 16.
Like if I was ever single again, I would not put any of the photos Blaine and I are in together on my Tinder profile.
No.
Because every person that reached out would really hope I was the attractive dude on the left and not me.
Here's what I will say, just to bring this back to Theo James. Nowhere do they look more alike than Theo James's headshot.
Yes.
If you pull up Theo James's headshot, you're like, that is Blaine.
Yes.
Which is wild. But no, I had never thought of that before you brought it up, Armando. Thank you for sharing. Anyway, they twins, so this is just evil Theo James.
And Blaine Gibson.
Evil Blaine Gibson. And we get the flashback to him as a child going down the well to try and get the monkey. Monkey's not there. He finds the key.
Exactly. So it's out there for 25 years just as a mon.
Shut the fuck
key.
up, you piece of
You're welcome, Mondo.
How? What? At what point? At what point did you come up with that? At what point during this process?
Mondo, can I be honest when I wrote that joke? It was while he was climbing out of the well with the key in his pocket.
That's so funny.
So roughly 2 hours ago.
Yeah. Because somebody had to walk their dog.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So no, honestly, I don't care. Like I don't have any plans. It's fine.
I'm sorry. I care for another living thing.
I know. When you said I'm out walking my dog, I was like, "Oh, you got time, bro. You take care of that puppy. I can leak the DMs." I was aggressively fine with it when I found out. But if you were like, "I'm on a date," I'd be like, "Fuck you. We got to record."
I'm at a date at 10 in the morning.
It's called brunch, man.
Fair enough. That's breakfast.
It started at 10 p.m. last night.
Oh.
Anyway, he has the key. He holds onto that key for 25 years, and then he's like, and then I started seeing signs everywhere. So he's got like a fortune cookie that says hi, turn the key and see what happens, and then there's twins at the restaurant. Then he goes to the stripper that has the monkey head.
Yes. Which I think is just him showing his descent into madness.
Yes.
Because he's sort of like narrating his side of the story, which is very much like the way he reacted to the trauma of the thing they experienced, but it's like in this movie version of it.
But it's as if he's telling it to the monkey.
Yes.
Where he's like, I've been waiting for you, like your divine providence of like, you're going to kill my brother. And so he just starts cranking it.
He does start cranking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He like pulls the monkey out and starts just cranking it, guys.
I mean, what can he do? That stripper was hot. But like, Hal's Boss is the first one where he's trying to get a new vape and then like bangs on the vending machine and swallows the vape that he has.
It's like in his neck. It's like poking out. It's so funny as Mondo and I hit our vapes.
It's like the harmonica in Cabin Fever.
It's so good.
It's so fun.
It would be so funny if like smoke started to come out of his mouth and shit.
It
Like,
does.
Well, yeah, I guess it does. You're right.
Yeah, it does.
It's very funny.
But we then go through like all the other people who've died. So he's just been cranking this shit, right?
Yeah. I mean, once you get the ability to, I remember the first time I realized I could crank it. Like I cranked it a lot.
Yeah.
Mondo, you were there.
Yeah.
What?
I don't mean like with me when that happened. I mean like he's been through it. He knows.
No, I was there when it happened.
Yeah.
Looking through the windows, Edward Cullen style.
No. I was right there with it. I was the one who told him you could do it.
Yeah. I will always and forever refer to Mondo as my crank buddy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I cranked that funky monkey. That's what I told him.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's how you make banana kush. I'm sorry.
Ooh. We cut to the guy who bought it at the garage sale and then sold it back to Billy. And he's like, it reminds me of my dad. I want it back.
He does say that, right?
Yes.
So it's fully that. It is like absent father trauma leading this way. Like 100%.
We're getting to a point where he does something shockingly similar to the two boys at the beginning of the movie.
Yes. Yeah. He deep throats a bunch of bees.
Yeah, I was going to say, he opens the closet that belonged to his father and gets his uniform, only this one is a cop uniform.
That's right.
A cop uniform, and then gets his gun from his stepdad, and he's like, do you have any extra bullets? And his stepdad's just like, what caliber?
Which was wild.
That was his stepdad?
Yeah.
That was
and
his
he's
stepdad.
wearing like military, like
garb, yeah.
camo. It looks like, I don't know if you call them greaves anymore, but it's like
fatigues.
Yeah, like fatigues. They are fatigues. Yeah.
I thought that was his brother.
No, that's his stepdad.
Oh, that's really sad. Never.
Yep.
Okay.
It may reflect things that be happening in the news sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But we get a conversation between Hal and his son, Petey, and he's like, you're better off with Ted, who is Elijah Wood. Because, like, I'm going to accidentally get you killed. This happens around me all the time. Who should show up but the guy from the garage sale who's like, we need the monkey. And this is where Hal has to explain to his kid, it's a monkey that kills people.
Yeah. He's like, hey, I brought you here, and I got to explain this little bit before we move in to the next scene.
This is why you should go with Ted. He's an expert in his field.
Yeah, he's a leading expert in his field.
The only field I am ever in is one where a lady explodes into 1,000 pieces. Into the field.
Into the field. Now, this is also where Bill calls again and is like, if you want the monkey, you have to bring Petey and make him turn it, because Bill believes that whoever turns the crank can never die.
Right.
We don't know if that's true.
No.
We know it's not true because it says it's like life, and that's how death works. And I've put together at this point, the monkey is death on some level. So yeah, it'll kill anybody it wants. It probably isn't going to like kill the person who's turning it unless it knows it can get someone else to turn it, because it still wants to, you know, be like fucking death or whatever. But
right.
I'm sorry. I love the you go, at this point I've figured it out. The monkey is death.
Yeah, like I figured it out like forever ago.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean like I had already figured it out. So I know I know he's not right, you know? Like when Bill says the turner of the key is more or less immortal, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like he's not at all.
But that's what Bill believes.
Right. Because that is what gives him the feeling of control over his life.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is, and also like Hal's doing something that's also equally as toxic by cutting people out, because he feels like he can control their survivability if he doesn't know them, which is insane.
If he's not involved.
Right.
Yeah. But they show up at the house. They send Petey inside through the doggy door. And Petey then meets his uncle, who's like, hey, look at this cool toy. You know, turn it. Now, Petey has to avoid multiple booby traps to get up there. So he doesn't trigger 2 of them, but accidentally triggers a 3rd.
Yeah.
That is Chekhov's Rube Goldberg machine. But he goes up there and he turns the crank.
Like father, like son, guys, you know?
Like father, like son. Down in the driveway, in the car, they turn the brights on and illuminate a giant wasp's nest hanging over the car.
Oh, I thought they were bees. I guess they could have been wasps too.
They are wasps because wasps can sting you and not die.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I don't care if they live after they sting me.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I'm still scared of the initial sting, you know?
Yeah, but it is a paper wasp's nest.
I'm sure you're right. I just, I made a bunch of jokes about the Jerry Seinfeld movie, and I feel like they're not going to land now, but it's fine.
It's fine. Wasps, bees, what's the difference?
I literally wrote every bit of dialogue to the bee movie in my notes for a meme.
Todd going, wait, they're wasps? And then throwing notebook after notebook behind him off of his desk.
They be wasps. Anyway, as they're sitting there, the guy from the garage sale is scratching his head with the gun. The gun goes off. It doesn't kill him, but it puts a hole in the windshield and a hole in the wasp's nest, which basically gives him like a funnel for bees or wasps into his face.
It's definitely wasp page. How could you ever confuse these with bees? It's so dumb. It's clearly a paper wasp nest, right, Mondo? Anyway.
Yeah. I don't know how I didn't see that and wrote a bunch of bee jokes in my notes. I'm so stupid.
I am so stupid. I do love that, like, he's scratching his head with the gun at the moment the monkey decides to kill him. But the monkey's like, no, that's too easy.
Too easy. I'm creative.
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved that.
Let me cook.
Yeah.
And all the bees fill up that guy. And I my favorite part of this kill is because like he gets filled up with bees and basically just explodes in a shower of bees. And none of the bees / wasps
who knows
hurt Theo James at all. But Theo James just kind of looks at us like, ugh, and then just gets out of the car quietly.
There is a lack of disturbance and urgency in that moment.
It's because it's happened to him so much.
Yeah.
He has been standing next to death, which is the name of his autobiography, for so many times.
Oh, man. But we cut to...
I got to get this out of my head before we move on.
Yes.
If Theo James is the bee, Theo Vaughn is the wasp. And I can't explain it, but that's the way it is. And that we're just going to leave it there.
Yep. Now, at this point, Theo James, Hal, tries to run to get into the house. So he's knocking on the door. He's trying to get in, which means that Bill knows that he ain't dead.
Right.
And he's like, so who died? And he's like, no, kill him. And he kind of yells at the monkey and tries to bring the arm down to kill him.
The metaphor of this guy trying to control who lives and dies, right?
Yep.
I was like, man, if this wasn't 2 or 3 years of therapy in my early 20s.
But in that, the monkey drums a bunch, it goes off, and it implies that like the whole town is fucking gone. Like dead bodies are falling through the roof.
We see conclusive proof that that monkey played for the Weather Girls.
Right.
Because it starts raining men out of a plane that like blew up above them. And it's crazy. Yes, Mondo, I want you to be disappointed. I want you to look like that. That's what I wanted.
But also a skydiving bride from the skydiving company that they looked at earlier.
Because they do weddings.
Yes.
Is this the moment, or did it happen when the real estate agent died? I think it's when the real estate agent dies that they show the cheerleaders in the bus.
Yes.
Oh, it's when they're taking her body out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And they're cheering for the death and the wicked death. And I'm just remembering that I wanted to set that up to talk about it at the end, but because it comes back.
Yes, because what happens to them is the stinger at the end of the movie.
Yes. But also, I think they show a shot of the cheerleaders while this is happening and just enjoying the cavalcade of death. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But so the bride falls through. Hal finally makes his way up. So now the brothers are facing off. And Bill is like, I was trying to kill you because you killed my mom. And Hal is like, hey, man, that was also my mom. And he's like, oh, I never thought about it like that.
I know. This scene is actually, in a very silly way, kind of sweet if you look at like what they're saying to each other is very much like Hal forgiving Bill for being this terrible, toxic person, and Bill sort of recognizing another person's personhood for the first time ever. And you're like, oh, there's some growth here. And then, well, what happens, and it's very funny to me.
It was where it seems like he's like, oh, are you guys on like a road trip? I would have loved to have done something like that. And he's like, join us.
And he's like, well, come with us now. You can join the family now. We can reunite after what is like almost... Oh, I remember exactly how long they haven't talked, because he says, it's been like 10 years. And he goes, it's been 9 years and 11 months. I'd never forget, or whatever. I was like, my God, that's so funny.
But as he's like, join us, the monkey drums again. The Rube Goldberg machine of booby traps goes off, smashing, or rather decapitating Bill with his mom's bowling ball.
Yes.
Just like in the beginning of the movie.
It's not a cannon. I called it a cannon earlier, but it is the bowling ball that he like fantasized crushing his brother's head with earlier.
Yes.
It's effectively a cannon.
It is.
Yeah.
It 100%. That's why I call it that.
If you're shooting cannonball-sized thing out at cannon speed, you are cannon.
I agree. Yes.
Canonically, that is a cannon.
That's why they call it a t-shirt cannon.
Yes.
Yeah, canonically.
Canonically canon, yes. Welcome back to Canonically Canon, where we go through every bit of intellectual IP and tell you if it is canon.
Canonically canon.
Oh, if it has a cannon in it. Pirates of the Caribbean, yes. Hook,
Yes.
Yes, it has.
Yes.
It canonically has cannons. That's actually
Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Yes.
Canonically canon.
All right, folks, we'll see you next week. Now for a read from our sponsor, Blue Chew. Do you want your dick to be like a cannon? And then that's all. That's the bit.
These AI ads are getting weird.
That's the whole bit I had planned. Thank you.
We cut to them driving back through the town, and it is completely wiped the fuck out. And at this point, Petey's like, what the fuck are we supposed to do with this monkey? And as they're sitting in the car, Death rides by on a pale horse. And Theo James is like, I think we just have to accept that it's ours and hold on tight. And they drive. And I thought for sure they were going to drive through this intersection and just get pet cemeteried by a truck.
That would have been funny.
I would have laughed so hard. But no, they make it through because that fits the metaphor. But then a school bus full of the cheering cheerleaders comes by and an 18-wheeler cleaves all their heads off.
Yeah.
And
that's the movie.
Yeah.
So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, what'd you guys think about the monkey?
I enjoyed this way more than I expected to.
Same, honestly.
I love the movie. I have very minor complaints about the movie. Again, it's some of the ham-fisted stuff. It's weird because I love the moments where the people talk the way that it feels and not the way that people talk. But then some of the things that the movie will show me, for example, the pale horse or the cheerleaders being a sort of insert for the audience, and then the end of the movie having the cheerleaders be decapitated so that the movie's telling me, hey, you too will die one day. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I get it. But overall, I struggle a lot with death. I wrote a letterboxed review in which I talk about the death is really terrifying as a concept, and the idea of losing somebody close to you and having it happen is so upsetting, and it feels like the most heartbreaking thing in the world, and it feels weirdly unique. Every time you lose somebody close to you, it feels like the most unique sting that anyone's ever felt, and no one could ever possibly understand the pain you feel. And yet 2 people die every second. Every time the clock ticks forward, 2 people die, and that continues to happen. And so this unique experience that you feel is not it's not a unique feeling. It is a statistic. It is just another in this ticking clock of death that happens. And by the way, I did the math on it, and it's over 11,000 people die in real life while this movie is playing, because 2 deaths per second, yada, yada, yada.
Right. Math. 11,000. Right.
My point is that I obsess often about death to the point in which I am constantly dying. I am constantly in my real life experiencing the fear, the anxiety, the pain of dying, not necessarily on a physical scale or that grandiose, but I'm basically killing myself thinking about dying all the time. And I really felt like watching this movie that I came into, by the way, again, as a bit.
Right. You watched this because you were like, this is going to fucking suck.
Yes.
Like in the best way. Like in like, this will be fun.
I thought it was going to be a fucking Final Destination ripoff.
Sure.
Straight up.
Right.
That's what I thought I was getting into. And then I found a movie that was like a really funny and strangely nuanced opinion on why letting that consume you is so detrimental to living, because no one in this movie who is at all revolving around the death is living. Hal and Bill are both in different ways not actually living life because they don't get it. So I really, really, really liked this movie.
Yeah, me too.
And I was surprised at how much I liked it too, which is even better.
I was also surprised at how much I liked it. And I don't think it's necessarily because, or I liked it because of like the kills or like the monkey itself necessarily. I think I liked it because, yeah, there are some silly things in it. The deaths are wild and they're over the top, which is fun. But there's also like this really emotional core to the movie because we are seeing two people sort of spin out because of their close touch with death and their youth, right? And we're seeing Hal spin out the way I spun out. And that's like why and just to like high level it, like when I was 15, I was in a car accident with my brother or a truck. I was in the bed, he was in the front seat, and I went like 20 yards into the street and popped back up and sort of pulled him out of the car, and he had hit the dashboard and the windshield and stuff, and he like died. He was dead. You know, he technically was resuscitated, brought back when someone showed up to help, and then never woke up again, but died 2 days later. So like, it was this very like traumatic thing, and it affected everyone in my life differently, but it took a long time for me to not like hyper fixate on things I could have done differently in the moment that would have, quote, saved my brother's life, right? And I was like, maybe if I hadn't asked Dustin to like change the radio station, the guy who was driving or whatever, like my brother would be alive. And so it took therapy to make me like realize that like, oh, it was an accident, bro.
Yeah.
Like nothing you could have done I mean, yes, you could have not gone to Wendy's that day or whatever and he'd still be alive, but like you don't get a second chance at that, you know? And it's certainly not your fault because there was no intention behind it, you know, like,
right.
And so like, you're just like looking for like reasons it's your fault because you want to feel like you have some control over it and you just don't. And that's so hard. Right. So like when I went to therapy sort of right after this in some government funded program to have therapy in schools, and that lady in that program saved my life slowly over the next 2 years, sort of explaining that to me, you know, like, so like if you feel like anything that you have done that is at all like that is your fault, just know it's not your fault. Shit happens. And that's like kind of what this movie is saying to Hal. Like it's truly random.
Yeah. Everything in life is an accident. And really quick, going back for a moment to when we talked about him looking at the monkey as a child and being like, did you do this? Did you kill my babysitter?
Yeah.
I feel like that is so much of that same feeling that you had of hyper fixating on like, what did I do to cause this thing?
100%.
And yeah, it's ludicrous.
Yeah.
Blaming the monkey, and I know that I mean this with love, blaming the monkey is just as insane as maybe I shouldn't have asked him to change the radio station. Like those two things.
Oh, and I was just like pulling from whatever because
I know.
Like literally there were like 50 things, like having hyper fixated on that moment in my life. I was like, maybe it was this that killed him. Maybe it was this that killed. And so like, that's why I needed fucking therapy, you know, like and that program like saved me. But you know, it was government funded, so I'm sure it doesn't exist anymore. But like, you know, I think Hal's story is very much the survivor's guilt part of it because he feels responsible for killing his mom because he's the one that cranked it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you crank it, people around you will die. Remember that. Any teenagers listening to this, if you crank it, people die.
People die.
That is what Hal learned. Hal is an incel. He's only lost it once, and that was how he made his son. But my favorite part of this is realizing that death is like a organ grinder monkey, because then that sets up for me in my final moments. I get to have a drum off between me and death that is a monkey, and I cannot wait. It's going to sound just like The Devil Went Down to Georgia, except the solos are way better.
And it's just drums.
Like I said, way better.
Yeah. I loved this. I can't wait to get into fun facts because there might be a reason that those were the themes in this movie.
Oh, shit. Well, Paige, if you want to just maybe hit us with the fun facts, maybe you should hit us with the fun facts. Monkey fun facts. Dev Patel fun facts.
Oh, that's Monkey Man. That doesn't really fit on either show, but it's really fucking good.
Guys, and honestly, see it because I saw it and it's so good. I love Monkey Man. Sorry.
If you do Monkey Man and don't bring back your Monkey Man, I will be so
guys, we got a friend in the monkey business.
Come on.
Anyway, According to Osgood Perkins, the reason that the monkey bangs a drum instead of cymbals as in the story was because the rights to a cymbal banging version of the monkey are owned by the Walt Disney Company, as that specific toy had appeared as a character in Toy Story 3.
Awesome.
Now, the only reason it appears in Toy Story 3 is because director Lee Unkrich was a fan of Stephen King and put it in on purpose.
Oh,
wow.
So this is kind of the originating IP of it all.
Yeah, which
that's funny.
This is based on a short story from Skeleton Crew.
Right.
Stephen King's Skeleton Crew. But never realizing, like Toy Story 3 was years ago. That guy was like, they're never going to make a movie out of this. This will be fun. And put it in. But that meant that this movie had to change.
That's what. Speaking of canonical canons, dude.
Canonical canons, yes. Now, following Stephen King tradition, this is set in Maine, as most Stephen King things are.
Well, that's where they move. They move to Maine. Yeah.
But that's where the bulk of the deaths happen in the end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The song that the monkey plays is I Do Like to Be Beside the Seaside. And the father of the two main characters goes out for cigarettes and never comes back because that's exactly what Stephen King's father did.
Oh.
Now, when Osgood Perkins took over this project, he did almost a full rewrite of the script because the original script was very, very serious and he felt it was too serious. Now, part of the reason they had hired Osgood Perkins and his kind of selling point for taking on this project is that everyone dies in insane ways. And he says, well, I'm an expert on that. Both of my parents died in insane headline-making ways. Let's talk about it. His dad is Anthony Perkins from Psycho, who was closeted until he was outed in an article in 1990 by someone claiming that he was HIV positive or even had AIDS. Spoiler, he died 2 years later of AIDS.
Literally making headlines, by the way. Like what would 100% make headlines. Yeah.
Yes. And he died at the age of 60. But up until his death, he and his wife kept up public denials. Now, again, they have 2 children. I'm not going to pass any judgment on their relationship. It clearly was whatever it was. But his mom, Barry Berenson, who is the name of like one of the people that gets killed in the town, she was killed almost 9 years later on the eve of the anniversary of her husband's death because she was a passenger aboard American Airlines Flight 11, the first plane to crash into the Twin Towers on September 11th, 2001.
What is happening? She killed Pierce Brosnan's son?
She did. And Osgood Perkins has said of his mom's death,
oops.
Well, he just said, what? Wait a minute. That's a thing that can happen? He basically said it was so outrageous and so unpredictable that there's nothing you can do.
That's insane. Yeah.
And so he feels like it seems inherently unfair because you personalize grief and ask, why is this happening to me? But, quote, I'm older now and you realize that this shit happens to everyone. Everyone dies, sometimes in their sleep, sometimes in truly insane ways like I experienced, but everyone dies. And I thought maybe the best way to approach that insane notion is with a bit of a wink and a smile, because he's like, you have to release yourself from the responsibility of it and the personalization of it, because sometimes life is truly random.
That is insane. So when you said the way Anthony Perkins died, I was like, for sure, his dad, the movie star, will be the one whose like death made the majority of the headlines. And the other one was 9/11.
Right, 9/11. But that's the
crazy.
whole reason why he took this from being a very serious movie to a very funny movie, which honestly makes it for me.
Yes.
Like, part of the reason I like this so much is because it is absurd and funny.
Yeah.
And the gore is extreme. Everything is absurd because it's like, fuck it. Life doesn't give you a choice. It just happens, right? You can't predict how it's going to happen. It is completely random. It is surprising. And that's how this is going to play out. So I understand people's criticism of this movie. I fucking loved it, man.
Do people criticize this movie? I loved it.
Yes.
I thought it was great.
This was a very polarizing movie. This is also one of the few Stephen King movies where he does not make a cameo. And those are your fun facts.
Thank you for these fun facts.
Yeah, thank you for these fun facts.
A couple thoughts. First and foremost, I can see why it's polarizing, as was Longlegs. I felt like, again, this is a stupid complaint, but I felt like it really wrapped everything up very fast and made the very ending feel a little...
So does Longlegs.
Undeserved. And he loves doing this. He loves the critical ending point in the third act to be somebody just explaining something.
Right.
Anyway, I have grievances with it. I love this movie so much. And every time I think about it or watch it, because I've done it twice now and I know I'll do it again, I really love it. And I also really love that idea that, like, okay, a little bit of self-promotion, I guess, but right now I have posted a clip of a joke that I have that is a 9/11 joke.
Is this the shit their pants so bad?
Exactly.
It's one of my favorite jokes of yours. No joke. Like, I laugh at it every time I hear it.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. What I really love about that joke is that it starts as a 9/11 joke and then it becomes a shit your pants joke.
Yeah.
And the crux of the joke being that, like, as a child, I could not fathom the giant wave of pain, influence, and problems that 9/11 caused. But what was visually and noticeably understandable to me was a guy shitting his pants, because that's really funny. And also, Nate Bargatze has a great fucking joke about how after 9/11, everyone, including him and his coworkers in Nowheresville, Tennessee, were like, so obviously Al-Qaeda's coming here next.
Yes. That's a great joke.
You must have never been to Nowheresville, Tennessee, because that's the way they talk. That's like 45 minutes from me. Nowheresville, it's real close.
It's right there. It's right next to buttfuck.
I thought that was in Egypt. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
My point is that, yes, and maybe this is a thing that happens a lot more with comedians, but you see that no matter how dark or upsetting something is, there is always something to be made fun of. There's always a funny aspect to these tragedies, to these horrible things, and they are happening to more than just you. And so what I really love about this movie is it took the thing that I worry about constantly the most, and for an hour and a half or whatever, it made it really funny. And that is so hard to do. So great goddamn movie.
I think it's great. Yeah. Sorry to ask a personal question. Would you consider yourself an atheist?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, more or less.
Yeah. I mean, I am more or less the same. And man, I really hyperfixate on death too. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Most people I know that like tell themselves the religion story don't as much. And I envy that, like, freedom from it.
Yeah.
I don't even mean that like in a derogatory way. Like, I understand why you lean into that if you do. It's very comforting.
Well, I mean, as a more religious leaning person, that's partially comforting, but there's always an understanding, I guess, growing up in religion, that everyone dies. That has always been an understanding, and it's a constant and it's expected.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe part of it. And I am also a person that, like, is pretty sure I know how I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Because of the disease that ravages my family.
Yeah.
And so at a certain point, you also have to be like, well, if that's what it is, I have to do whatever I want to do now because I won't have time later.
Yeah.
So, like, you can take it different ways.
Sure,
you know?
yeah. And I'm not trying to attack religion. I'm saying, like, I get why people like to believe that, like to have faith. Like, I'm sure it's super comforting, and I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I guess is my point.
I think it's also a piece of, like, you could make your whole life about trying to avoid and survive whatever it is that's going to kill you. Like, I could change my entire life to be like, if I eat all these things and take my son's blood, I'll never get dementia. But the reality is, it doesn't matter. You could get hit by a bus any day. People die all the time. And so there's nothing you can do. You should just live your life and enjoy it.
That's exactly what this movie is saying. And I think that's why we should, like, definitely leave this in, because it's like, I think the point the movie makes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know. You could end up on the plane to 9/11 like Osgood Perkins' mom.
Yeah.
Which there are 9/11 jokes in this movie.
Yes, the amount of time is a specific reference to the thing that killed his mom. The amount of time they've been estranged. Sorry, I didn't finish that thought, but yeah.
That is a level of comfortability with death that I would like to achieve at some point.
Well, okay, so I'd argue that, and it's not just comedians that do this, because everyone, like,
yes,
you know, the old adage of, like, tragedy plus time equals comedy. We make jokes about it because it feels to us like we're getting some control over it again.
Right.
And so that, I think, is why we do that cycle of tragedy plus time equals comedy. I think that's literally why that's a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's also distance reveals absurdity.
I agree. Yeah.
True. And the more comedian thing that I was talking about was the idea that we just get to it a lot faster because it's how we process things, how we understand things. When you can make fun of something is when you truly understand it, is kind of a good way to look at it. And speaking of death and comedians and the absurdity of it all, another movie that I just watched again, which I've seen this movie, I think 9 times, is A Futile and Stupid Gesture.
Or was it 11 times?
Yes, it is I watched it 9 times at 11 times speed. It's called A Futile and Stupid Gesture.
I love that movie. I love that movie so much.
It's really great. It's a biopic on Doug Kenny, who was the creator or co-creator of National Lampoon, the guy who wrote Animal House, Caddyshack, etc.
And then slipped off a cliff in a state of depression.
Or killed himself. And nobody knows.
Right. The joke they make, I think, is very appropriate in the movie. And I think this is a direct quote from one of his friends who said, he slipped while looking for a place to jump.
And that was what I was getting to. I love it. That joke is something that somebody said at his funeral.
Yes.
And that's how comedians process death or scary things, is just by making fun of it.
And it was literally at his funeral. That devolves into a food fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please make jokes like that at my funeral, please.
Paige, this is going to be dark. I hope if you do end up getting that you're stuck in a time where you're thinking back on these podcasts and us recording them and just like laughing and like having a good time.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think I'm going to kill myself. I think eventually I'm going to die, but regardless of how it happens.
We're all going to die. I was worried about the dementia stuff of it.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I'm not going to remember this shit. I'll write myself letters and won't read them like the Notebook, but like, eventually when I die of it, please crack jokes about how I wish I could be here, but I couldn't remember where it was, like, or something like that.
But like famously about 9/11, I think it was Gilbert Gottfried made a joke at like some Friars Club roast. It was like 20 days after the event.
I think that was the tsunami in Japan. If we're thinking about the thing that lost him Aflac.
No, I think that also happened. I think Gilbert Gottfried made a joke on like September 30th or some shit. 2001 about 9/11, and he got like booed and stuff for it because too soon or whatever. But like comics do get there faster typically.
I know.
Because they're just dark.
SNL made a joke literally days after where it's like, should we have SNL? Should we be funny at a time like this? And why start now? Basically, like, you were never funny, so like, go ahead.
But they're punching themselves, and that's okay. Like, I'm okay. That's funny. Yeah. Anyway, but Paige, thank you for those fun facts.
Yes.
So this week, Paige, you made us watch The Monkey. And obviously the listeners next week, and we can kind of say the listeners made us watch this because it was the number 2 listener request.
Yes.
So as we count down your top 2 listener requests for May, we are going to do Sinners next week. So guys, that's your homework. Watch Sinners and then come back and listen to that episode.
Come back and listen to how much I want to spit in Michael B. Jordan's mouth. You're welcome.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Now, was it Michael B. Jordan or Michael Wasp Jordan?
It actually was Michael Vaughn Jordan, and I realized that's like another layer deep in the joke, but it's because he's German royalty way back.
Anyway, that's what you're gonna watch next week.
Yeah, but we forgot to do this, Paige, but like, would you hit us with that scary scale?
Sure thing, Todd. Our scary scale is a scale of 1 to 10 of how scary we found the movie today, with 1 being Ghostbusters, 10 being Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Todd,
I'm gonna give it a 1. It's not that scary. It's like more explodey guts than scary.
Armando.
I think I'm following it with a 1. All of the deaths, all of the things that are whatever in this movie feel very fun. I guess technically what I'm watching on screen, a 1, making me think about my own mortality, a 10, baby.
For sure, yeah.
I'm going to give it a 1 as well. But that's your scary scale.
All right.
Todd, do you have any reviews for us?
I do. This week, I'm going to read one of our Spotify comments from our most recent episode, that episode being Freaky Tales, which if you haven't seen, you've got to watch. But Kat said, as a Bay Area punk myself, I have, in fact, fought with Nazis outside of Gelman Street.
Hell yeah.
It's nice to see my experience portrayed on the big screen. Representation matters.
Yay!
And I loved that. We got a lot of great comments on that episode, some of which were like, I never would have known about this movie. So glad you made me watch it. Like that kind of stuff.
Yay!
And I'm glad. Like,
that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, because like, it's a great movie, even if you're not like a Bay Area nerd. It is just a great movie that also happens to be in the Bay Area. And because Paige she knew all this stuff about it. So the episode's great because of it. Anyway, But thank you guys so much for those comments. And if you want to have me read your Spotify comment or 5-star Apple review, do one of those things and I'll do just that. Mondo, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Can you tell people where they can get more of the great stuff that you create?
Yeah, you can go follow me online at Mondo Does Stuff. That's MANDO Does Stuff, all one word. That works on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Blue Sky, all that fun stuff. I'm posting videos of me doing stand-up. I'm posting old sketches that I made back in the day at Rooster Teeth. I do a podcast with Paige about cults. It's a true crime comedy show called Cult Podcast. I also do a show with my two best friends, Andrew and Griff, and we have a show called Boyfriend Material, wherein every single week we give relationship advice, and it is the only relationship advice show guaranteed to ruin your relationship. If you are into gaslighting gatekeeping girl boss, you're gonna like
gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
Eat hot chip and lie. You're gonna love the podcast.
Love.
Now, Mondo, I've been listening to Boyfriend Material, and my relationship's going great, so you should expect to hear from my lawyer.
Are you following our advice?
No, I look at it as like, you should never do this. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, buddy. Follow our advice and then see what happens.
I've done that in previous relationships, not because of you, but because I'm an idiot, and it has ruined those relationships.
See?
But it is a great show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I have such a good time. That comes out every Tuesday wherever podcasts are sold.
Yes.
But Mondo, thank you so much for joining us. And guys, honestly, go to Mondo Does Stuff anywhere to see what Mondo does. So guys, if you like this show but want to hear Paige and I talk about romantic comedies or just regular romantic movies, check out our other podcast. Some might call it a sister podcast called Romancing the Pod, where we do just that weekly. It's a lot like this show, but for romance and romantic comedies, because Paige doesn't like them. So we make her watch them, just like you guys make me watch horror over here. But if you want to follow me, I am at Todd J. Awesome on all the social media. Paige is at Rampage Wesley on Instagram?
Yes, and TikTok.
And just Paige Wesley on Twitter, because you got that before some CEO lady and she wanted it, but you wouldn't give it back, and I respect you for that.
Refuse.
Also, Paige
Suck it, other Paige Wesley.
Paige is also on another podcast. It's great. You should check it out. It's called Cult Podcast with Armando Torres, who is a wonderful person. And if you want to support this show, go to Patreon at patreon.com/horrorvirgin, where there are a lot of great levels and a lot of great things. We do the Patreon shout outs at the beginning of every episode. We do listener requests, stuff like that, bonus episodes. So you'll be getting all of that content, plus episodes a day early with no ads, and who doesn't love that? So sign up for the Patreon and get a lot of great stuff.
That's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd.
Keep it ooky spooky.
Yeah.
And I'm Armando. Bye.
Mondo's still here, nerds.